Ireland is a country famed for its coastline and inland waterways that are rich in industry, culture, heritage and enterprise. I'm Bobby Kerr, entrepreneur, broadcaster and very keen sailor. And over the next 8 weeks, I'm excited to show you what over 3,000 kilometres of our beautiful coastline has got to offer. Business has always been a very important part of my life. I'm going to get this opportunity on this journey to see coastal businesses. And what I'm trying to do is articulate my love of the sea and love of the water. And the undiscovered beauty that's Ireland's towns, villages, islands, lighthouses, ships, fishing, like the whole 9 yards. That's what you're going to see on along Irish shores, and I really hope you enjoy it. The water has been my sanctuary since I was a very young lad. From swimming in the River Nore, swimming in the pollockholes in Kilkee, going out in the boat with my father, fishing, pulling lobster pots. The water has always been a big part of my life. When I moved to Dun Laoghaire, I got involved in sailing. I've been a keen and active sailor for the last 25 years. So it puts me at peace and it brings me to a special place. The last year I haven't been well. I've sort of taken stock of things and I've decided that I'm going to spend even more time in the water. And I hope I'm going to bring you into my world now and just show you a little snippet. I think Dun Laoghaire is the perfect place to start because I'm going to start with a swim. I'm going to start, with an area that is, I suppose, very close to my own heart. The 40-foot is on my doorstep here in Sandy Cove, and what I love about the 40-foot is it just refreshes you in body and soul. You see the same people down here at the same time every day. There's a ritual. You'll see people walking from their houses in their robes. You'll meet characters there. You'll meet people who've been doing the same thing for 40 and 50 years. I find that it's sort of changed my life. It's changed the way I look at things. It's a great way to wake up. You come down here at 6 o'clock in the morning and go for a swim. You just bounce into work.
Hey, Bobby.
Hey, that'll sort you out.
How are you?
How you doing, Ger?
How are you?
Good to see you, man. How are you? Hello, Jill. How are you?
Yeah, good.
How's the water?
Nice to see you. It was great. Right
Set
now.
you up for the day.
Yeah, really good now.
Yeah.
Ger, tell me about your own association with the 40-foot. You've been swimming here for a long time.
Well, but for me, for 15 years.
Yeah.
A novice compared to some guys.
And
So,
what's so special about the 40-foot?
I think it's the people. It doesn't matter where you're from or if you're wealthy or not wealthy. It doesn't matter. You come in to talk about any jellies. The water's lovely. I'm going around to this steps. Oh, it's too rough here. And it's the same conversation. And it's really simple. And everyone goes off and does their thing. But when here, you're all the same. I was a reasonable swimmer, triathlete, and then I became injured. And I actually suffered a bit from depression and stuff. And the sea became a well-being thing for me every day to come here and swim. It does have a natural ability to clear your head when you're not feeling the best.
It's the community. They're brilliant. We swim the boys. It's 365. It's no wetsuits. It's the challenge. You never know what the day is going to be like, and everybody is on the same page.
I'm excited to know about Tommy. I'm hearing a lot of talk about him.
Tommy is the guardian of the 40-foot kettle anyway.
He represents what's all good about the 40-foot. He's receptive. He's warm.
I'm honoured to be invited into his temple.
you should be.
Yeah.
You should be. It's a big deal.
Nice to meet you. This is the inner sanctum.
Yeah.
Kettle
Yeah,
boiled.
like tea now.
I'd love a cup of tea. Absolutely love a cup of tea. Nice selection of mugs too, Tommy, yeah?
Warm,
You're a saviour.
We're open the bickies there. Ginger, apple pies.
That's what it's all about. The cup of tea afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Proper Duncan biscuit, Jared, the ginger nut.
You can't beat them, can you?
No, can't beat them. Tell me about the Sandy Cove Bathers Association, Tommy.
Well, it goes back 150 years, I believe.
Yeah.
And it was all run by with voluntary contributions. People were very generous. We spent 37,000 on the front there.
Yeah.
All that new platform down there, the rail and all that.
Yeah.
It was all voluntary work.
You know,
There'd be a lot of nude baiting here at one time.
You can still see a bit of it here, do you? At the
Still
back of
is.
that.
He'd just be in his net.
Okay.
And your nudies.
Okay, in the winter when there's no one around.
Yeah.
We'd be only in there in 2 minutes. What's the sense of getting your house wet? For 2 minutes.
Listen, I've had a really, really great morning. This is my own neck of the woods. I love this place, but I've never been invited into the hut before, so I'm honoured, Tommy, I'm honoured.
Thanks, Chairman.
Next up, we're off to the Grand Canal Dock, built amid the 18th century canal fever that swept across Ireland. The Grand Canal stretches across the country for 144 kilometres. Managed by Waterways Ireland, the Grand Canal Dock is a treasure trove of small businesses and leisure activities. One such business which attracts people from all over Dublin into the area is Surf Dock, which is run by Colin Harris.
Surf Dock was started by my father in 1991. We started as a windsurfing school and it grew into a water sports shop, kayaking school, sailing. We've added cable wakeboarding, stand-up paddleboarding, and it's just a really fun place to come down, get in the water and enjoy the Grand Canal Dock.
This part of the city is really interesting in the sense that it's now probably the hippest, coolest part of the city, but it wasn't always like this. This place was effectively forgotten about for years, was it not?
It was, Bobby. Like when my dad came down here first, literally you had a gasometer at that end, light industry the whole way around us here, and no one even knew that it was really there as a resource at all. So when we came down and started introducing people to windsurfing and things like that here, it was just a reinvention of the space, I guess. So
Now with all those high-tech companies here in the area, how has the place changed?
it's amazing. We just have people all around us every day walking, having their lunches, enjoying the sunshine. And we've had to kind of change with the times too. We've added lots of new things. The main thing being this cable wakeboarding system here. So that we installed in 2013. It was the first of its kind in Ireland at that time. And we're really lucky like that because you've got these young people working in these high-tech industries and they're looking for things to do in the city, you know. They want to be out cable wakeboarding, they want to be stand-up paddleboarding, and we have this unique facility, you know. There's not many other countries in the world that would have a body of water in the middle of their city, 10 minutes from the downtown, that can be used in this way.
There are a number of small businesses, all, I suppose, working off the water. How do you kind of work together and help each other out?
So basically we help to try and promote each other. We've just seen the Viking Splash Tour go past. We have the Plurabelle Paddlers that
I'm
also
meeting
come
them
to-
later,
You're
by
meeting
the
them
way.
later? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a great organisation. There's lots of bars and restaurants around here and we promote them to our customers coming into us and they do the same for us. And by working together, we're all seeing a growth in our business, I think, over the last few years. We have young Brian out here. He started wakeboarding with us in 2013 when we started, and he was just 12 years old then, and he's 15 now. And the tricks he does, he's competing for Ireland. He's won his age group many times over already, and in just 3 short years, he's become like an international athlete, and that really makes me excited about working
That's
down here.
fantastic. We're going supping now or stand-up paddling, yeah?
We are indeed, yeah.
How
yeah.
cool is that?
Oh, it's amazing, man. It is a great workout, really good relaxation.
Too cool for school, I can't wait.
Let's
do
go,
it.
let's do
Yeah.
it. That's it, keep going there, yeah. Your inner paddleboarder has emerged straight away there, so we're good to go.
I tell you now, you think it's easy, you laugh at people out there paddleboarding, go out and try it sometime. You'll see how tricky it is to actually stay up in that wind. But yeah, it was great, I really, really enjoyed it. And what's better than a swim that, what, 4 o'clock in the day, a swim to wake you up in the Grand Canal Basin. Can't think of anything better. It's wonderful to see such a strong maritime presence in the heartlands of our capital city. The Grand Canal Dock is not just about business though. A charity called the Plurabelle Paddlers brings women from all age groups and all walks of life to the area every week, and I'm keen to find out more about them. Tell us, I suppose, the origins of the Plurabelle Paddlers.
Well, it's a dragon boat club for people who've been diagnosed with breast cancer, and it was set up in 2010 by Fiona Tiernan. She had a recurrence of her own breast cancer, and doing some research, she found that in Canada there were dragon boat clubs set up to help people post-treatment for breast cancer. And she decided, why not start it here?
So the only prerequisite to joining this club is that you have had to have or had breast cancer.
Exactly.
That's it. That's the only common denominator then?
Absolutely.
Okay. Would you want to be through your treatment before you started?
We usually say you'd want to be 3 months post-treatment.
Okay. How important is the facility here, Margaret, you know, after when you come in and, you know, people are tired and they're wet and they're cold?
Yeah, it's actually hugely important because we call ourselves a support group with a difference. And this is where the support happens. It's just knowing that everybody else has been through the same thing. It's very, very important.
And how did you end up down in Grand Canal Dock? What was the connection that brought you here?
Well, it was a case of finding somewhere that was suitable. We needed somewhere to store the boats, we needed a slipway to put the boats into the water, and we needed fairly calm and fairly deep water.
There is a great sense of community, Margaret, isn't there, down here in the docks?
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Dublin people don't realise there's such a buzz down here.
How competitive do you actually get? Is it fairly serious training?
Well, it's very serious training. We work very hard. It's all fun until we get out in the boat, and then we're different breed of woman out there. We're very competitive.
I'm really scared.
Oh, I'd say you're good and strong. You'll probably be well able for it.
Oh, I hope I will. I hope I won't let anybody down.
I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah,
we might have a convert after tonight.
Well, let's go and give it a whirl, huh?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's do that.
Come on, really puppet!
And now, girls, show me how this is done. How long are you doing this paddling?
Oh, about nearly 2 years for me.
Yeah. So any tips for me, so I don't screw it up? I don't want to mess up here.
Well, apparently it's a bit like pole vaulting.
All right. Oh, who are all my mates?
Your buddy and Sandra and Gina is your buddy. Every time that arm goes up and you twist, you should really be looking under this elbow and giving Gina a little wink, right?
Absolutely. I have no problem doing that.
Bobby's girl tonight, lads.
I'm with Gina, yeah.
No better woman.
We're going to be a great double act. Wait till you see.
Absolutely. So very big welcome to Bobby for joining us tonight.
We're just going to have a laugh sitting at the back of the boat.
Great.
Are you ready? Attention, go! Time. Well done, Bobby. Didn't miss a beat.
You're like a little pro out there, you
Thanks a
were.
million. That was absolutely great. The crack, the camaraderie, it was absolutely fantastic out there. They're all in jig time, and you talk about teamwork, these ladies have it in spades. Thanks for inviting me along, and I appreciate what you're doing here, because everybody is on the same journey here.
Absolutely.
And the fact, as someone who was in the same club, I could absolutely empathise with that.
Yeah.
And I remember actually when I went into hospital first, the fact that you were in there and there was other people who were all in the same boat as you, it actually means a lot. So I was inspired tonight. Thanks again for inviting me along. I really enjoyed it. Thanks very much, ladies. See ya. Dublin Bay on the east coast of Ireland stretches for 10 kilometres. Full of beauty, it's always busy with activity and enterprise. Being out at sea has always been my passion, and I feel absolutely lucky and privileged to be part of such a rich maritime community here in Ireland. Eugene, how are you? Our community is a small one where everybody knows each other. It's full of explorers and interesting characters, some of whom have turned their love of the sea into a business. Dublin Bay Cruises is owned and run by Eugene Garrahy. It operates between Dun Laoghaire, Dublin Port and Howth Harbours. Eugene, I wanted to ask you about your own story. Clare man, living in Dublin, seen a few booms, seen a couple of busts, unfortunately. Just talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I started a construction business in Dublin in 1987. And we had a fantastic company. It really secured our future, ultimately.
Yeah.
And of course, we saw the writing on the wall. Maybe we should have seen it a year earlier, but when you have a company of 27 years, you're passionate about it, and you protect it. But I remember sitting at the kitchen table one night. I knew I had to make the decision and to liquidate the company.
Right.
But I remember the night I made that decision on my own at the kitchen table, my blood ran cold.
Right.
It was very tough, very tough.
Having lived through, I suppose, the pain and disappointment of that, how do you come back a second time?
I don't know where it comes from, but I seem to have a lot of energy. I'm always looking for new angles and new businesses. So I saw Dublin and I said, I'll have a go at that.
Good man. How many people is she licensed to carry?
Licensed to carry 96 and captain and 4 crew, so 100 in total. running 7 days a week from April to October. And we do 6 different cruises every weekday, and then we add an additional one to Dock Island, Killiney Bay on a Saturday and Sunday evening.
So you can go and see all the houses of the rich and famous.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to find them from land now, but I can pick them out from the sea. I've been looking for yours, Bobby, but I haven't found
No,
it
you
yet.
won't find it. You won't find it. I'm used to being the captain on my own ship, so for me it's great to be a passenger on Eugene's boat and experience the delights that Dublin Bay has to offer. So Eugene, you might explain the Dublin biosphere for me.
The biosphere, it means that industry and people work in harmony with nature. And the biosphere in Dublin is the first city-based biosphere in Europe, which is very, very significant. And a lot of work has been put in by the City Council and others to achieve that status, and it's UNESCO status. And basically what it does is, it makes people aware of the benefit of protecting their natural resources. And there are so many natural resources based right here in Dublin, on the bay and along the shores. Like you have Dalkey Island, you have Ireland's Eye, you have Lambay Island, and you have the beautiful towns and villages along the coast. And all of that, with its wildlife and nature, is just so precious and needs to be protected.
So Eugene, what about the future of the business?
Well, we're 3 years in now, so we are developing slowly. It's hard work, you know, because we're competing with a lot of other attractions in Dublin. But we are unique because we run the only domestic passenger ship on the east coast of Ireland. And recently we got a huge boost. 2 weeks ago we won Marine Tourism Operator of the Year. That's nice.
Now it's a family business. I know your wife's involved. You've got 3 lovely daughters.
To be honest with you, without them I wouldn't have made it.
Right.
You know, because they were very, very supportive right from the start and still are. And my daughter Alva has now joined me as marketing and sales manager. And of course Aoibhinn has been instrumental in pushing me and pulling me. She's been very, very helpful right from the start.
You're like me. You have a lot of women in your life.
I have, yeah. And
They
I'm lucky
sort
to
you
have
out,
them,
they
you
do.
know. Yeah, I'm lucky to have them because to be honest with you, I'd probably be in the home for the bewildered before them.
One of Dublin Bay's undiscovered treasures is Lambay Island. Lambay is located only 5 kilometres off the shores of North County Dublin. It's long been a mystery to me, and having sailed around it for the last 25 years, I've always wondered what it would be like to actually visit the island. Today, one man has managed to gain an exclusive invite for me to explore this hidden gem on the east coast of Ireland. So I'm in a special club now, is that right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
VIP club, Bobby, yeah.
There you go.
Very privileged.
Michael Birmingham is the owner of a hugely successful business called M&K Meats and supplies meat to some of Ireland's top restaurants. For over a century, this privately owned island has been in the possession of the Baring family. I'm really excited to take a glimpse into this clandestine island on my doorstep. Michael, we're at the highest point of the island here, and I'm in awe of what I see. Majestic view all across Dublin Bay. I've seen many views. This is up there with the best of them.
Spectacular, Bobby,
Yeah.
yeah, really is.
You're, I suppose, the exclusive purchaser of the livestock here in the island. How does it actually work?
So I've exclusive rights, Bobby, for all the livestock that comes off the island. It's a 10-year contract, and the restaurants who I supply are absolutely delighted. Because Dublin has gone so built up, to get local produce from Dublin onto the plates of top restaurants, it doesn't get any better than this.
Now down here, I'm seeing black, brown beef. What are those 2 different breeds?
Yeah, that's some of the herd, and you need to cross the breed to be hardy enough to survive on the island.
Okay.
So it's the cross between the Angus and the Galloway, but it's smaller cattle than you would have on the mainland.
Okay.
Then the venison is predominantly fallow, purebred. The rabbit is wild Irish rabbit breed.
Now, I want to know about the wallaby. This is staggering stuff. So what's the story of the wallabies on Lambay?
Well, incredibly, it's I think Dublin Zoo, the story goes back in the 70s, they got them in to reproduce them, but kind of They had their difficulties unsuccessful. So we said we'd take them onto the island and let them see out their days.
So this was their retirement home.
Their retirement home. The fact that it's uninhabited and it's kind of peaceful, they just flourished. And now we have a herd of about 200.
Wow.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And, do they just kind of look after themselves?
Completely natural.
Right.
They're all left to their own devices. In fact, all the livestock on the island, it's unsheltered, it's unshedded, it's free from antibiotics. It's just nature at its best.
Wallaby as a meat, it's a game, is it?
It's considered in the game family, yeah. It's like venison. Very, very lean, very dark in colour. It's one of the most tenderest meats I've ever eaten in all my life. You have a lot of natural grasses, herbs, heathers on the island that you wouldn't get on the mainland. Couple in with the fact of the natural saltiness coming in from the sea.
Right.
With the natural minerals that's in the soil. And any chef or anybody that's used and cooked it has just been blown away with the flavour and texture.
Your marketplace for the meat here that's coming from Lambay Island, you're talking about a premium product, do you not?
Absolutely. Well, I think because of the meat and how good it is, it deserves a premium. And I think it's gathering momentum and getting awareness out there. We just got some recently to a very good restaurant in London. He was looking for something new and unusual, and it doesn't get any more unusual than wallaby from Ireland.
Wow.
Yeah.
Having started my journey on my own doorstep, I've been absolutely blown away by the diversity in coastal culture and business that Dublin has to offer. Join me next time, where I'm heading up north to see what the shorelines of Down and Antrim have to offer. Where I'll be trying out new things, getting a taste of island life, and seeing the Causeway Coast from a new perspective. Northern Ireland is home to inspirational locations, rugged landscapes, and for me, a lot of undiscovered territory. I'm eager to explore its stunning shorelines on this next stretch of my journey. With mystical landscapes, it's easy to see why it's been chosen as a destination for major TV shows such as Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Castle Ward in County Down is known as Winterfell Castle in the TV show and home to the famous Stark family. James McKay is a senior tour guide at Winterfell Tours and my host for today. Well, how about that? James, how important is archery as a component of the Game of Thrones experience?
From our point of view, we're trying to offer something that puts people in the show and lets them experience it. So the archery experience here, it's something that was part of the show. Fans can relate directly to it. As you can see, the guys who do it get dressed up in some of the kit from the show, so they feel as if they're immediately part of the Stark family. And what we find anyway with here is that fans want to get the kit on, want to stand at the place where the actors stood, and want to get their photographs for social media.
And how much would your numbers be up since you changed the Game of Thrones experience?
So after we rebranded part of the business as Winterfell Tours, we had 10,000 people roughly through the estate in 2014. Last year in 2015, we had close to 20,000 people, and through into 2016 and onwards, we're looking for that to improve.
Yeah, that's great. You must get all sorts of crazy fans rocking up here.
We get a lot of thronies coming on site, yeah. With the kind of show that Game of Thrones is, you do get a lot of people who get very engaged in it and very involved in it. So you get a lot of people coming in here who've made their own costumes. They actually don't want to put ours on because they've got their own with them, which is great.
So you've had massive success out of this with your business. What about the rest of Northern Ireland? What sort of impact has it had?
Well, a lot of people who are coming, and they wouldn't have come to Ireland if Game of Thrones wasn't here, and so that speaks volumes.
OK, where are we off to next?
Well, we're going to take you out to Audley's Castle.
Yeah.
That was used for a number of shooting locations. It's a short walk through the estate, so we'll have a look and we'll see how we get on.
Situated on the shores of Strangford Lough, our next stop on the tour was featured in season 1 and 2 of the TV series, and it's clear to see what actually appealed to the location scouts.
So this is Audley's Castle,
right?
And this was used as the twins of Walder Frey back in seasons 1 and 2.
We've got an amazing vantage point here. These are the Strangford Narrows. Can you explain about the race of water that's coming out of Strangford?
So you've got Strangford Lough that sits on the east side of Northern Ireland, which is the largest sea loch in the UK, and that drains in and out of this tight channel here, which is 4 miles long but only 300 metres wide at its narrowest part.
Because it's tidal, all of that flows through the Strangford Loch Neagh, so you've got up to 380 million gallons of water flowing in and out twice a day. Right in the middle, there's about 10 knots of tide flow, which for seawater to flow on its own accord is phenomenal.
Whoa,
Very dangerous
okay.
fish of water.
Over here we see Portaferry, James, linked by a ferry.
Yeah.
Explain the benefits that it's getting.
The whole local area is benefiting from the influx of tourists. There's a lot of accommodation, a lot of food options as well there. So if guys are coming in looking somewhere to stay, looking somewhere to have lunch, that's an option that's getting very popular for them.
When the scouts were looking for the ideal location, how big an influence were the maritime aspects of what you've got here?
I think it's quite a strong one, and again, it's one of the reasons why the estate and this area was such a strong filming location for them. In a fairly confined space here, they were able to get forest land, we've got castles, and it all backs on to Strangford Lough.
So this location's obviously been very good to you. Would you be hoping and praying, I suppose, that you're going to feature in future episodes?
Yeah, very much so. We're hoping to see Game of Thrones back to this estate again, because it'd be great to see them. Enjoy the rest of your time around the coast.
Cool. It's early morning and I'm heading to Northern Ireland's biggest lake. I've always wanted to sail on Loch Neagh and never had the opportunity to experience its beauty at sunrise.
How are you?
Loch Neagh is the largest freshwater lake in the British Isles, borders 5 of Northern Ireland's 6 counties, and is the biggest lake on the island of Ireland. Beautiful and tranquil this early morning, the only people you meet are the fishermen and the patrol boats who monitor and protect the fish stock on the loch, such as the famous Loch Neagh eel. The Loch Neagh Fishermen's Cooperative have been amongst the forerunners of wild eel producers for decades and are recognised as the largest producer of wild-caught eels in Europe. And this morning I'm meeting fisherman Martin Devlin, whose ancestors have been fishing on Loch Neagh for over 7 generations. So Martin, we're out here just after dawn. There must be a great sense of sort of peace and solitude out here, just fishing away, picking up your eels. It's absolutely beautiful here this morning.
It is a beautiful morning, but not all mornings are like this. And as for peaceful, well, there's a diesel engine usually rattling away in the background, and as you can probably hear, you can hear the boats all heading in with their catch this morning. The wonderful thing about Loch Neagh is there's no heavy industry around it. There's no heavy metals been poured and pumped in and chemicals. That water's beautifully clean and fresh.
And you 5 of the 6 counties have borders on Loch Neagh.
It's a big loch. There's a slight haze this morning, but if you look to the south, you can see the Mournes.
Yeah.
The Mourne Mountains. And when you get a really clear day, you get a sense of actually how big this is.
Yeah.
But the other thing about it too is it's a relatively shallow lake, so it heats up relatively quickly. And there's a great abundance of fish in Loch Neagh. Cross-scale fish and perch and pollen, which is a fish which is unique to Loch Neagh.
And how many eel fishing boats will be out this morning, approximately?
Well, I mean, they're scattered right over the loch. I would say there's probably at least 100 out.
Wow. And tell me about the co-op.
The fishermen are the co-op, and we've been going now for 50 years, practically. And over that course of time, we have put the checks and balances in terms of a quota system, a weekend, closed season, and the amount of boats that can fish it. And it's because over all those years we have set up those checks and balances that it's working for us.
Tell me about the season.
It starts in May and it runs through usually to mid to end of October.
So the season's over in October. What do you do for the winter months?
Well, my son and I are both carpenters, so
right.
We're fishermen and carpenters. I mean, if that doesn't get us into heaven, what will?
Martin, tell me about the history of the long line, how it all works here, the stones, the hooks, the spacings.
Well, the long line is slightly over a mile long, 400 hooks. Each hook is usually spaced about 4.5 yards apart, with a little sinker that brings it down tight on the bottom of the lake because eels are bottom feeders.
Right.
The ancient records tell us the monks on Loch Neagh from 1200 years ago using long lines and nets.
Wow.
So it's nothing new about it.
And how has the population been of eel, say, over the last number of years?
Well, we noticed way back in about 1987, 88, we noticed that there was a decline in the small elver baby eels coming into the Lough Erne River. And at that time we decided that it would be a sensible idea to actually buy and augment the amount of elvers that's coming into the loch. And since that, we have bought elvers every year to actually put into the loch to keep the stock levels up. And I mean, that's one of the things about the cooperative in terms of we've always been proactive in terms of
trying to stay ahead of the game.
Reinvesting in your own business.
Very much so. And it's not so much for me, because it'll be for my son's generation. It'll be those eels are anywhere from 12 to 18 years of age.
How old would an eel live to, Martin? How old are those eels?
Well, those eels are probably about anywhere around 12 years of age, from that up to about 18. There are occasions where the marine biologists have found eels in Loch Neagh up to 28 years.
Wow.
You will get remote lakes where you can get eels would be well over 35 years.
I've heard of the legend of the eel breakfast, so we better go in and have some eels for breakfast.
I hope you get it, because we need to head in and try and get these eels in for you to get your breakfast.
OK, let's go and do that.
OK.
Thanks, Martin.
You're very welcome.
The River Bann is Northern Ireland's longest river, and I'm excited to sail it in style with Robert Anderson, who worked on the river for many years. Morning, Robert. How are you? Lovely to meet you. We're going to go for a sail, you
Absolutely,
and me.
yes.
Yeah?
Lovely morning.
All the way from here down into Coleraine.
Coleraine, yes.
Really looking forward to it.
Good man.
Robert, you tend to find in rivers that there's buildings, and it doesn't appear the case here. It's really underdeveloped.
It's a beautiful river, totally unspoiled.
We're here in traffic now, Robert. Means we're getting closer to civilization.
Yep, we're just passing by the Camas Ford. This was a very important crossing point on the river for centuries.
And this would have been one that was protected then, because it was a key vantage point.
A key crossing point.
Yeah.
Probably St. Patrick crossed here on his way into Coleraine. Brian Boru came across here with his army. An important place for centuries.
Right.
During dredging operations here in the 1930s, the Bann disc was recovered here. A small bronze brooch, it's about 4 inches in diameter, engraved with scrolls. It's now a symbol of Coleraine. So people have lost things crossing over the river here, and centuries later, they've been recovered during dredging operations.
Before my journey comes to an end with Robert, he navigates me to the home of Desi Quinn from the Honourable the Irish Society, and I sail through the Cuts Loch on this beautifully crafted boat. That was great, Robert.
Okay, Bobby.
The Cuts, tell me about the significance of this loch on the River Bann.
On the river, there are several areas where there is a natural rock formation. The river flows down over those. In the Victorian times, efforts were made to make the river used for navigation. The Victorians built the locks originally. The Cuts we have here now was a fishing station on the river.
Right.
To capture the salmon, which were making their way in from the Atlantic.
And who controls all the salmon fisheries now?
Salmon fishery is controlled these days by the Honourable Irish Society, who are people who were involved with the plantation of Ulster in the 17th century.
Right, the Honourable Irish Society.
The Honourable Irish Society.
Now, I'm going to go and see Desi from there now. Nice house, Desi.
Yeah.
You're blessed to live there. Lovely to see you.
Lovely to meet you.
How are you doing? So where we are here, Desi, at the Cuts, what have we here? Was this the old commercial fishery?
Yeah, that's known as the traps. What we have here is, you starting from the left-hand side is number 1 cut, and then you have number 2 cut. In the middle is what they call the Queen's Gap. You couldn't interfere with that at all. That was to give any of the fish coming up that free access to the rest of the river.
Okay. And these houses on either side of the races there, what was their function?
Well, in times gone past, the people that actually worked on there, they would have lived in those two, and they would have stayed there throughout the season.
Were you the last employee of the commercial fishing arrangement here? You were.
I was.
Last man standing.
Last man
You turned out the lights, did you?
It was hard work, but it was good work.
Having sailed down this morning, Desi, I noticed sort of the peacefulness and the tranquility of the river, but it's very underdeveloped. Like, there's no houses, there's no industry, which I have to say is nice.
Yeah.
But would you like to see more maritime traffic on the river?
I would like to see more people seeing the river. You know, it's not, you know, it's such a lovely river. Even a lot of people that live around Coleraine have never been on the river.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just a pity because I see it every day and see its natural beauty.
Yeah. Lovely to meet you.
Same to
Thank
yourself,
you.
Bobby.
Having sailed around the coast of Ireland for many years, I've had the pleasure of visiting many of our beautiful islands, and today I get to cross another one off my list. Located off the northeast coast of Ireland, Rathlin Island is rugged in rich landscapes, and local islander Liam McFall is going to introduce me to one of its most famous treasures. Liam is a warden with the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds, which is based at the Rathlin West Lighthouse. Wow, look at this. What have we got here?
All guillemots out there, intermixed with razorbills. And on the inner cliff, as you'll see when we go down, loads and loads of puffins on the grassy bits, all making up this whole colony of about 250,000 seabirds here in Rathlin.
250,000
Yeah, biggest razorbill colony in Europe.
Wow. Liam, talk to me a little bit about the relationship with Rathlin Islanders and the birds. It's probably changed over the years, but can you give us the sort of evolution of that relationship?
Going back to Stone Age times, we had people living in Rathlin making stone axe heads. And obviously in those days they would have seen the birds as a real source of food with fresh meat and eggs. And that was the case right through the centuries. And even in my grandfather's lifetime, they grew up harvesting the bird eggs. Today, we get like thousands of tourists here coming along to see the seabirds. By visiting the island, they have an impact on the economy. They all have to have some lunch, a cup of coffee. That creates employment and keeps the island sustainable. So it's equally as important today as it was centuries
Just
ago.
a different sort of relationship. Why don't we go down and have a closer look at these birds?
Yeah, we'll head down here and have a look now.
Now, Liam, oh wow, look at this. This is truly amazing.
This is down on the platform, so we're extended out from the cliffs, which is pretty unusual angle. We're looking back at the cliff face.
Which is great.
And we're actually looking up. We've got birds above us, so we've got razorbills nesting on the crevices and cracks in the rocks up here. Kittiwakes clinging to the little rock ledges there. Chicks are now in the nests. Grassy tufts along the top edge here where the fulmars are all nesting. Then on down to the bottom, you've got the puffins nesting in the burrows down below there. And of course, out on the stacks across the way here, just tens and tens of thousands of guillemots.
So does each species kind of keep to themselves within it? They all have their own patch, effectively?
They all have their own sort of way of protecting themselves. The puffins, for instance, they're nesting on the ground, so they have to go for the grassy banks. Guillemots, safety in numbers, because if you were an egg or a chick in the middle of that lot there, right, your chances of survival would be much higher than if you were sitting out on your own.
Yeah.
The razorbills go for a slightly different method. They go for cracks and crevices on small ledges that are easy defended. And they mix in amongst the boulders at the bottom also. They hide under the rocks.
So some of these birds then, this is their only time on land. When they leave here, where do they actually go?
That's right. The auks, which is the general name for all the, that family of grouping of birds, they have a similar lifestyle to penguins, where auks are the northern hemisphere version. So they're cousins, if you like. So they have the same lifestyle. They live in the ocean. They can use these little wings like paddles, and they dive to great depths. Guillemots can go down as deep as 180 metres.
Which is incredible.
Incredible depth down in search of their food. And they spend their entire life on the ocean, moving from place to place, following the food source, and then they have to come back on shore to lay an egg, hatch a chick. And once that job's done, they'll be starting to move back out offshore again. We've still got inside the lighthouse to see, so we can go and have a look down through the lighthouse.
Okay. The famous Rathlin West light.
We're now down at the lantern level, as it's known, which is where the actual light is here.
Liam, what strikes me about this lighthouse is, I suppose, very obviously, it's an upside-down house.
The level of the light was very important for the range, how far out to sea it could be seen.
You know, it's about 23 nautical miles. You can see this offshore. If it was up at the top, it would be vastly more over the horizon.
Okay.
And that could be very confusing for ships approaching from the Atlantic.
Okay.
Even still, we're 62 metres above sea level here at this point. As you can see, it's rotating inside the glass dome. Conventional light, bronze and glass, floating on a bath of mercury. So there's no burns and no friction to wear it, so that the sequence of the light can never, ever change, because that's so important with lighthouses, that the character of the light, that's the sequence of the flash, has to stay
bang on every time. I've seen Rathlin from a distance before, but I've never been on the island, and I have to say, you know, seeing this just fantastic structure up close here with you today has been truly special, so thanks for that.
OK, thank you for coming to visit.
I'm a self-confessed seafarer who loves to be on the water at every opportunity. I love meeting people who share the same passion for the water as I do. Experienced kayaker Robin Ruddock kayaks the Causeway Coast almost every day and has invited me to join him on today's trip.
How are you? Hey, Bobby.
Great to see you.
OK.
We're going off kayaking.
I'll take you down along the coast.
Can't wait.
This is beautiful.
Piece here of the tranquil bay that we're in here, looking across the people walking across the rope bridge. It really is a spectacular coastline, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
Talk to me about the bridge.
It's been there hundreds of years, and it was the fishermen's route out onto the rock, onto Kerry, and that was their access every morning and away out in the evening. There's a handrail either side, but in the old days, the fishermen just had a single handrail.
No way.
So they carried a fish box on their shoulder, full of salmon.
Handle. Wow. Is it true that that cliff there is called the Giant's Organ, is it? Sounds a bit dodgy, but is that what it's called?
Yeah, you'll see the beauty of the organ pipes. They're almost perfect, like a cathedral organ.
OK, wow.
The beautiful red layers in the cliff as well. They're old soil layers that are full of iron. They're iron-rich layers.
So you get that red colour, is it?
Yeah, it's really stunning amongst the sort of greys and the black of the basalt.
So, Robin, I've never been to the Giant's Causeway, that wonderful landmark, but I get to see it first time ever from the sea.
Yeah, it's lovely to approach by sea. It's nice to be out on our own.
Oh, it's absolutely spectacular.
We've come from the causeway round to Dun Laoghaire Castle. Under the castle, you see the fantastic cave. As we come in from the sea, we can see up in a bit of light up in behind. And in the past, when the castle was in use, they would have kept a boat in the cave. And they could access the cave then from the land. So if they were under siege, they could make their way safely back out to sea.
It was an escape route.
Yeah.
It's spectacular in its vista. You can imagine that as a defence position. You could see everything from miles around. It certainly was some castle in its day, I'd suggest. I've really enjoyed my time in Northern Ireland, and I'm so impressed with its splendid beauty, interesting businesses and scenic coastlines. Join me next time when I travel northwest to see what's on offer in Donegal and Fermanagh, where I'll be fishing for the first time on Lough Erne, taking a very scenic hill walk and staying overnight in very unusual accommodation. The west of Ireland is home to glistening waterways, incredible coastlines and breathtaking scenery. The Sturrell Headland in Donegal is an area of untapped beauty and is an outdoor office for adventurer Ian Miller. So Ian, a Scotsman living in Donegal, it's got to be a long story.
It is a bit of a story, but we'll cut to the chase. It's a beautiful county. It's got everything I need. I need remoteness, I need big sea stacks, I need lots of rock climbing, and Donegal's got it in abundance. I've been climbing almost 30 years now. I was at sea for 20 years, travelling the world in platform supplies, oil tankers, all that sort of thing. So I've combined the two skills to climb sea stacks.
You like the isolation, the serenity, no one around, no mobile phones, just getting out there with a couple of individuals and spending the day with them.
It's the only way I'd want to make a living.
OK, Ian, so where are we off to now?
So we're going to walk for a couple of kilometres across the bog to the edge of the real world.
OK.
From there, we're going to step off and we're going to walk along a ridge with massive drops either side of us. We're going to make it onto a summit that you're never going to forget.
Whoa. I'm really scared about this, but at the same time, I'm really excited about it. Let's do it.
Good man.
Ian Miller owns the outdoor company Unique Ascent, which provides various outdoor activities. Today, he's taken me on a hill walk to see one of Ireland's most outstanding sea cliffs on my first stop on the Wild Atlantic Way. So Ian, I'm taking it we've reached sort of the first summit here. Just point out to me some of the landmarks that we see here.
Well, what you have along the coast to the north of us, you've got Ireland's highest sea stack. That's the big square stack you can see on the horizon. That's 148 metres high. Now the coast, the actual mainland Donegal, is the most remote place in Ireland. It's the furthest point of land from any main road, and it's one of only 2 coastlines in the country that you've got 40 kilometres with natural light.
This peak here, Ian, tell me about it.
This is the Sturil Headland. It's one of the most outrageous seascape features in Ireland. It's a ridge 180 metres high at its highest point and sticks out in the sea for a kilometre. And it's a true knife edge for 800 of those metres in your kilometre. And it's very, very atmospheric.
Let's go and have a closer look.
Okay, Bobby, welcome to my world, man.
This is your world, and it's a special world. I sort of think, should we not be making more of this wonder and beauty that we see here in front of us?
What the west coast of Ireland and the west coast of Scotland have in common is outstanding natural beauty. The west coast of Scotland's a few years ahead when it comes to encouraging tourism and developing it, but Ireland is starting to get there.
So when we look at your business, Ian, it's adventure tourism. Have we a long way to go when we look at countries like New Zealand, where everybody seems to be outdoors?
What Ireland has is the facilities. What isn't here yet is the amount of people willing to provide the activities, but they will come.
We didn't see anyone surfing 15 years ago. Now look at the surfers along the coastline.
It's an accepted activity,
yeah.
And there's plenty of them up and down the country.
So sea stack climbing is heading the same way. We're all going to be out here scaling that cliff face there.
Give it a few years, yep.
Absolutely, well, let's hope. Glen Colm Cille is steeped in maritime tradition, and their community-run folk village museum offers a glimpse into days gone by. Now, Margaret.
Glen Colm Cille.
Local woman Margaret Cunningham manages it and is passionate about preserving the heritage of the area. Tell me all about the Glen Colm Cille village.
The village, well, we opened in 1967, so next year we're celebrating our 50th anniversary. And everything you see here was built with voluntary labour. But now what happens is all the money that comes in employs the local people.
I was going to ask you about the Wild Atlantic Way and its impact on visitor numbers. Are they up as a result of the Wild Atlantic Way?
We see a big increase this year, definitely. At least 20% up.
Wow. So, Margaret, can you tell me more about the importance of fishing in this community?
Fishing was very important. It was mostly they did it for their own consumption, but moreover the way of fishing is dying out, and we're trying to revive certain aspects of it, you know, to make people more aware of how important it was.
So can't the harsh days of fishing now are behind you? So
yes,
what do you do here now in the village? Tell us about that.
Just you know, I come in here to help them here to show them the crafts. Just.
And what type of gut is this?
It's an island.
Nylon,
okay.
Yeah,
it's an island. 50 fathoms long.
50 fathoms?
Yeah, that'd be a typical length of a net.
That's 300 feet long?
Yeah, that's
wow.
correct, yeah. It'll take me about a week.
It's wonderful to see how a fishing community has come together to preserve their past in Ireland's most northwesterly county. Lovely fire.
Isn't it beautiful? Aye, good man yourself. That's good.
While we're here, of the attractions that are here then, is the Fisherman's Cottage one of the favourites with visitors?
I think it is because it's just that bit different. We're always told that they feel the place is very authentic.
Yeah, no, it is.
You know, and that they feel that maybe the person has just stepped out to collect something out the hill and that they've just left the house for 5 minutes.
That's great. So the show reel we see here, the cine camera footage from the 70s, what exactly is on that?
Well, what's on that is Paddy Ringo Cunningham, one of the local fishermen. He went out on the fishing boat and it's basically a day's fishing. And then what we did last winter was we collected photographs from each of the harbours in Glen Colm Cille parish itself. And the third thing was a Swiss filmmaker dubbed over Paddy's cine film. And she recorded some older fishermen like Tommy Go down in Teelan. So you have his lovely voice describing the way of fishing.
Beautiful, soft Donegal
soft, I know, and I'm from here, and I just fall in love with it every time I hear it.
Some of them over 90 walking up and down the Kerry. So they had fish in their genes.
With the voices of old Donegal in my ears and staying northwest, I travel inland to the beautiful waterways of Lough Erne. Full of hidden treasures and unspoiled scenery, it's an area I'm really excited to explore. My first stop on this tranquil loch is with Michael Bear, the co-owner of Finloch, a luxury and enchanting lakeside retreat in County Fermanagh. Where are we here, so
this is the back loch. So down this way, about 9 miles, take you down to Balleek and the start of the Erne.
So this is the start of the journey all the way to the
This
to
is
the
the start
mouth
of it,
Shannon.
yeah, exactly.
Wow. Tell me about the history of Finloch Resort.
It's been a family business now since 1982. A lot of my childhood was coming down here with the family, down into the caravan, and Dad, who was a builder up in Belfast, started building the first few lodges, and then bit by bit we would continue to come down every weekend, and guests seemed to enjoy the experience of coming to somewhere that was very remote, very peaceful and tranquil, and then it just grew from there.
Now you're running the business now with your sister Gillian. Clearly you have a different vision to it than your parents had, maybe.
So we didn't set out to do anything vastly different. I think it was more the change in face of tourism, and when we saw a good idea, we'd try it out.
How important is the water, the waterways?
So we're working with a lot of the other local businesses to try and make as much use of the water as we can. You've got your cycleways, your blue way right here. In theory, the idea is you can come down here, stay on the site, you can go out and explore Fermanagh, you can explore Donegal, you can explore down to Cavan on a boat, directly from here. You don't ever have to touch dry land, and that's sort of something quite unique, I guess, to this corner of Ireland. So.
Beautiful, great. So you have a special surprise for me. What am I doing tonight?
Yeah, you're gonna be sleeping under the stars in one of our newest domes. So these opened about a month and a half ago.
I just can't wait. So let's go on and do that.
Excellent.
Oh, look at that.
Is that?
Jenny. Am I excited or what? Whoa, look at this. Jenny. This is absolutely amazing. Innovation, chic design, and just really, really special.
Yeah, have a seat in the old rocker there, I think.
Yeah.
It works, yeah. But I think you, once you see them, they're just a nice, that was the test, but it was to see whether they were actually nice to stay in, and I think most people really enjoy the experience because it is different.
It's great.
We'd seen these bubble domes in Spain and France. They'd been used for a variety of things, shopping centre displays. There was a few people using them for sort of camping facilities. And so we thought, that could work with a few tweaks. You wanted to pick the best location. So this one here, you've got sort of a couple of oak trees around you and you've got an interesting view. It was trying to find a nice balance of giving them an interesting view to look out on and then also maintaining the right separation and privacy for each one.
Are the skies very clear?
We spoke to the guys who do the dark sky reserve status. We tick most of the boxes for their highest accreditation. Come here in winter and you'll see really clear Milky Way. You'll get your shooting stars. You get, we're not quite Northern Lights, but we're as good as you're going to get this side of Finland.
I've never slept in anything like this before, and I have to say I'm truly looking forward to it.
Thank you so much.
Happy days. Thanks, Michael.
And I look forward to seeing you in the morning.
All right, thanks a million, mate. Get a bit of shut eye. Night, night. Oh, yes, it's been a long day. Lough Erne, with its still waterways, is full of engaging businesses and diverse recreational activities. Angling is a real passion of mine, and it excites me to meet a business owner who has combined his love of food and fishing to create a unique business. Frenchman Pascal Brissot is proprietor, award-winning chef and expert fisherman at Watermill Lodge and Restaurant in Fermanagh. Whoa!
So, Bobby, that's my paradise.
It is a paradise.
It is, yeah. All what you see in front of you are all island.
So Fermanagh really is, it's a water county. It's...
365 lakes. You can fish every day in a different lake.
And this, so where we are here then, this is all part of your restaurant, your fishing operation.
Yes.
And how's the fishing been this year? How's
Very,
the fishing?
very good. The fishing, since slow down the commercial fishing and everything, is getting fantastic.
Now, tell me about the importance of angling tourism to you and your business.
Yeah, angling is really our main business, is very important. But I think Ireland, we are one of the best destinations for fishing.
Right.
And we have to keep that alive.
And who are the visitors? Where are they coming from?
They are mostly, our clients will be Dutch, French, Belgium, Italian.
And they, what type of fish do they like to catch?
Mostly pike as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm really excited. We're going to go fishing and we're going to catch some pike. Is that right?
We'll try, actually.
OK, let's do that. Now, this is the bit I've been looking forward to, Pascal.
Yeah, we are here in Colm Castle, estate area, and it's very well known for big fish here.
I'd be happy if I caught a fish that size. Never mind using it as the bait.
You can do a picture already if you wish.
Pascal, when you're out here, really, you know, you don't have a care in the world. You don't.
No. My only care will be you.
Yeah. You and me together.
Yes, you and me together and try to share the best time possible. Yeah.
So tell me, Pascal, what brought you to Ireland?
What brought me to Ireland is fishing, of course. And one day I come fishing in '82 in Belturbet.
Yeah?
With my dad, you know, 17.
Right.
I was very impressed about everything. And in 1998, I decided to move for good.
And you had worked as a chef in France, had you?
Yeah, so I had my own restaurant in France as well. I sell everything on the island in Ireland.
OK, I got one.
Oh. Fish on, fish on. Yes,
Pascal,
oh,
I have one here. Yeah.
Fish on, fish
on.
Oh,
he's big, he's big.
Easy. I get the net now.
Quick. I don't want to lose him.
No, me no. Look at that.
OK.
You have to give some line, please. Give some line, yeah, like that. OK, you OK?
OK.
He will go down. He will go in. All right, pull it inside, he's OK.
Oh, we don't want to lose him. No. Oh, we got him. Look at him.
Oh,
wow.
Nice fish.
Look at that. Whoa. Woo! Yeah.
You have it there? Hold it there. Yes,
OK, let's get the photo.
You have to smile.
Woo! With my catch safely back in the water, with heavy hearts and empty stomachs, Pascal and I continue along Lough Erne to Nan Island for a unique lunch. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Fishing gives you a great appetite, doesn't it? Great.
Oh, hey, voilà, bon appétit.
Oh, you make me very happy. Thank you so much. Oh, this is just stunning.
You enjoy that, yeah?
Oh, it's beautiful.
It'll take me 5 minutes as well.
No,
it's not a big
that's
deal.
what's nice about it.
Exactly. If you are
it's
ready.
All just natural and.
Oh, look, isn't it? It's better from a sandwich, I guess.
I'm looking at the sign there, Pascal, Nan Island. How many people have you brought here?
We only brought people deserve it.
Small but select crowd, isn't that what
I'm
they
joking,
say?
a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a paradise made by waterways that did a nice commodity to land here. And as you see, the background is just magic.
And what do tourists think when you bring them to a place like this?
But like you today, I hope that they are in paradise. And they just remember that, look how peaceful is it. It's no noise. It's just us talking and eating and have good time. It's really, I think it's really recharging any batteries you can get in your body. You know, it's really good.
Well, listen, we've an empty plate, we've full stomachs, we've caught a fish, we've had a wonderful special morning.
Thank you so much.
It's not long before I'm whisked back out onto the waters of Lough Erne by master butcher Pat O'Doherty. Pat, good to see you.
Good man, Bobby.
Great to be here.
You know something? You're the fresh meat today because those wild pigs out there, they're looking for something fresh.
Well, I hope I'm a tasty morsel for them. I hope they're going to enjoy me. Pat has a unique method of breeding his livestock, so we head out to Inishcorkish to look for his produce. So, Pat, what do you do to get their attention?
You know something? I have developed a special call. The island is actually, believe it or not, 1.5 miles long, so they could be in there in the bushes, and you know something about pigs? They could be sleeping beside you, you could be shouting the head of yourself and they wouldn't turn up.
And do they tend to stay together as a group?
Well, during the day now they would split up a lot,
Right.
you know. Maybe at night time they might come together at night and you know, congregate in bunches, you know. But out here in the wild where the pigs live, it's important for us that they develop their own social structure. We don't want them managed, we want them to look after themselves. So the idea about coming out here on such a lovely day is just to see them in their natural habitat.
So Pat, there's 50-odd pigs here now. When did you actually buy the island?
We have the island now roughly about 10 years, and the reason was for the ethics of it all. It's where the meat industry has tried to mould farm animals in a certain direction. This is to redress that balance. The reality is, pigs, when they eat the herbs and the grasses and all the wee creepy crawlies out here, everything that they forage for out on the island is part of their makeup. And we often say, when you taste the Fermanagh black bacon, you taste Fermanagh. It's changed our attitude to the meat that we would use from the pigs.
Yeah.
You know, respect for your food, respect for the products you make, and that goes a long way to the enjoyment of the food.
Oh, give another call there, Pat, and we'll see if we can find them.
You know, Bobby, we're going to have to move on because I want your name on one of them pigs.
I'll stay out here all night, Pat, no problem. You see a boar?
Look, you see him?
Oh, wow. I'll let you go forward there and I'll take the boat. How does an environmental scientist end up buying an island and putting 50 pigs on it?
I suppose my background is environmental science, and this is where I can get our own ethos together in relation to why kill animals for food and sell animals for food and your livelihood secure when the poor animals maybe don't have a good life. This year we have taken a sort of a major leap forward in relation to the ethical reason why we do it. Traditionally, we've used old breeds like the saddlebacks, which are the black and white pigs. But this year, we have taken a stride forward and we've actually included a very rare pig, which you've seen today, and they're called the coonies. Now, for us, that's like pig heaven because in 1986, in the entire world, there were only 50 of those left.
Wow.
And a few environmentalists got together to try to protect the species. So the small brown pigs with speckled black.
The cooney.
The coonies have arrived, and you know, good luck to them. You know, they're still on the endangered species list, and it's great for us to have them here.
That's really cool. I hope one of those coonies isn't called Bobby.
Well, Bobby, we have to select one for you, but those actually coonies, we have decided that they're not going to end up in the black bacon. We're actually going to give them away. We're happy for other like-minded environmentalists to spread the pigs out, and you know, we're happy
keep
to
the line going.
Keep the line going.
So what's the future then for your business and the island and the pigs?
We're reinvesting in the island all the time, and we're hopefully over the next year or so have a visitor centre on the island.
Wow.
Where you can actually pull up on the boats during the summertime.
This beautiful corner in the northwest of Ireland has taken my breath away with its incredible scenery and interesting characters. The wild Atlantic Way on the southwest coast of Ireland has beautiful bays, rocky terrains, soaring cliffs, and is home to many rural coastal villages. Quilty in County Clare is a small fishing village and my first stop in Munster. Evan Talty owns Wild Irish Seaweed, a family-run business.
How are you, Bobby?
Well, Evan, how's it going?
You ready to do some seaweed harvesting?
I absolutely am. Wild Irish seaweed has been in the Talty family for 4 generations, and it's still very much a family business today.
The tradition of seaweed harvesting has been in our family since the 1900s.
So if you're a young fella, you're told, go off and get a job, and it doesn't matter what job you do as long as it uses seaweed.
Yeah. I have 3 sisters, and then we have cousins that are beauticians, and also some of them help harvest. Then on any given day, I have uncles and grandfathers, and when we harvest the seaweed, they'll bring it down using their tractors, so it's family orientated. What we have is an abundance of seaweed on the coastline here, so we decided to take up the old tradition and to utilise that. We started off out of the kitchen in starting to kind of do dillisk and carrageen, and we tested it in our local shops. And from there, it just snowballed, and it's got bigger and bigger.
So, Evan, tell me, if you have 25 products now from the 2 that you originally had, what areas are they in?
So seaweed has many different uses, whether it's going into health food industry, pharmaceutical industry, and into food ingredients as well.
And how do you go about getting a plot, or how does that system work?
If guys from up the coast in Doolin or down to Lahinch or back to Lough Head in Kilkee decide they want to harvest seaweed for us, we'll go and we'll test the water, we'll test the nutrition of the seaweed, and then we'll tell them that's okay then that you can harvest there.
How does it work then? Getting the seaweed from the foreshore here to the factory, what happens?
Okay. So we'll get into the shore, pick it by hand, lay it out along these rocks here. When the sun is shining, it'll dry naturally. We'll sit down, have a bit of grub for maybe an hour or 2 while it's softening and drying out. These rocks are washed with seawater every day, so it's beautiful, and it also keeps the taste in the seaweed. It's then transported back to our factory, where it's brought to our moisture level that we needed for shelf life, and then it's hand packaged, boxed up, and ready to hit the shelves.
Okay, well, it's time to do a bit of work. Let's get stuck in and get some seaweed cut. So what's the trick then?
So generally what happens is we'll pick a spot like this. So you can see they're all growing like that, so the root is here. So we pull back here.
Oh, go back towards the root.
Yeah, and just leave a small bit.
You're a bit quicker than me, Evan.
Experience.
So when we fill this, Evan, how much am I looking at?
You're looking at around 10 to 15 euros. When you're that bucket
That's a
full.
big variation, 10 or 15.
If you keep picking, you might make the 15. At the moment, you've only the 10.
So, I'm absolutely famished after that, Evan.
Lucky, we've the chefs are en route here.
The chefs, who are the chefs?
This is Gerard.
Jerry, how are you? Gerard, lovely to meet you. How are you doing?
Good. And this is Michael.
Hello, Michael. Lovely to meet you. How are you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Whoa, look, what have we got here?
Oh, yeah.
These are the barnocks.
That's the barnocks.
All right, tell me about those.
This is the way I always cooked them.
Wow.
We had an open fire and they helped at home. And we take out the coals and we put them down like this is one here. And that's the best way they cook in their own.
In their own shell, it's a bit like their own saucepan or whatever.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
Do you know what, Mickey? I was just thinking that to work here in this environment, looking out there, the sea behind us, the sun coming down onto the rocks, like, where better could you be?
No place better.
The coastal town of Kilkee has always held a special place in my memories. My dad and all his people were from there, and I've holidayed at Kilkee since I was a baby. And it's where local character Manuel de Lucia taught me how to swim in its very own pollicles. My old friend, how are you? Great to see you.
Great to see you.
How are you doing?
Good. You're looking very well too.
I'll tell you, great to be back in Kilkee, Manuel.
Yeah.
You and I go back a long way here, don't we?
That's for sure, since you were a baby.
People will want to know about this majestic place, Manuel. Explain it to us.
This is the pollicles, and the pollicles to me is the 8th natural wonder of the world. 10 to 11,000 years ago, when the glacier melted, it left all this behind. It left the cliffs here, George's Head, all the reefs, and the magnificent pollicles. On the pollicles, we have 4 big natural pools. First pool here, which was the ladies' pool years ago.
It's where I learned to swim, where you taught me how to swim.
That's
I think about 1963 or 64, I was 4.
Was it about that?
It was, yeah.
Now, these pools are all natural. Tide comes in twice a day and it changes the water, so you have crystal clear fresh water there all the time.
When you think about Kilkee and all it has to offer, look, where do the pollock holes actually rank in relation to their, I suppose, importance?
Well, I'd say the pollock holes rank number 2 to the beach.
Okay.
Our beach is fantastic. I always thought that the pollock holes were because small pollocks swim in the pools, but it isn't apparently. It comes from an Irish name, owned-enquiries, which means the hole in the flag, holes in the flag. And that's why they're called the pollock holes.
Okay.
Had nothing to do with the pollock at all.
Let me bring you back, Manuel, to what, maybe the late 50s?
55. I was 15 at the time.
Okay, and you tell me about your experience in the pollock holes then.
Well, I had just gotten a mask and snorkel as a present from my mother, because I'd always been interested in the sea, and I had been swimming since I was 7. I went into the pools, and I tell you, it blew my mind with what I saw.
Wow.
All the different colours and the fishes and the corals and stuff like that. They're just pure magic, and the colours are magnificent.
Amazing,
Yeah,
amazing.
it is
So
amazing.
that was back in 1955, and you've been coming here ever since, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
You taught
Yeah.
me how to swim here.
Yeah.
You taught thousands of kids how
I
to
did,
swim
yeah,
here.
I did,
You
yeah.
taught people how to dive in the pollock holes.
That's right, and snorkel. Yeah.
Right. And do you still swim here?
Oh, I do, yeah. I swim in the pollock holes quite a lot now. Oh, they're here.
The second pollock hole.
Yeah, that's it. We're going to get into our gear now. Togs, no suits, all right?
We're tough guys.
We're tough guys.
Yeah.
Leather skins. And we're going to swim around the pollock holes there. We might see a few things like starfish or something.
This is beautiful. I feel like I've just woken up again. So clear, the water's so clear, so refreshing, and even great to see all the kids and that jumping in around us and that. It's just wonderful. Just the clarity of the water, Manuel.
Oh, it's super, yeah, it really is. And it's invigorating, you know.
I've thoroughly enjoyed the day here with you.
Yeah.
It's like old times. We're all a bit older, but the pollock holes will always be the same. They'll always be a special place. On this early, misty morning, I meet James Whelan, the owner of Killaloo River Cruises, for a cruise with a difference. Morning, James. How are you?
Bobby, you're very welcome to Killaloo.
James, where are we off to today?
So we're going to head down the River Shannon, down into the Ardent Crusher Power Scheme, into the head race, down through Europe's steepest lock at the power station, down through the tail race, and into where we rejoin the River Shannon at the Mill Road in Corbally in Limerick.
Wow, some trip. I'm really looking forward to it.
You'll love it.
James, your background is in retail, I believe. Your father had a shop here in Killaloo.
Yeah, but retail was never my choice. I never enjoyed working in the shop. So back in 1991, when my father said we'd get a boat and start doing trips on the Shannon, I jumped at the opportunity of getting out of the shop and getting onto the river, and I haven't looked back from that. We started off with just one boat. The following year, we had 2. We worked our way up through that.
Lough Erne is a special place. Ireland's 3rd biggest lake. In size, it's absolutely huge. Tell us a little bit about the lake.
Yeah, I don't know where you did your geography, Bobby, because down here we claim it's Ireland's 2nd biggest lake. People in Galway want to claim the Currach, but we're not giving them that, no.
So, James, then what about the other side of the bridge in Killaloo? That's largely undiscovered, is it not?
It is completely undiscovered. The boating traffic down there wouldn't be at all like what it would be on Lough Erne. And principally the reason is it involves going through the ESB power station. You have to get an appointment to go down through it. It's Europe's steepest lock. It's not for the faint-hearted, as you'll see later.
Okay, James, this is the first part of infrastructure around the dam. Tell me about it.
This is really what changed everything between Killaloo and where we're now standing. This is known as Partine Weir. This acts as a reservoir for the ESB. When the River Shannon was here originally, it would have been about 30 foot lower, and much smaller over here nearer to the Limerick side.
So this is a canal now that brings us all the way to Ardnacrusha from the Partine Weir. How long is that?
It's about 6 miles in total.
We're in a loch, but it's no ordinary loch.
No, this is part of Europe's deepest loch. We're in the first chamber in the power station, and we came in at the same level of Killaloo, which you see on the line behind you on the gate.
Yeah.
And he's just started to operate the gate now, and he'll drop us about 60 feet. So within
Big
about
drop.
25, 30 minutes, that water line will be looking way back up at it.
Incredible.
It is. If you look right up along the way, you can see a pipe going across. That's the level we came in at.
Wow.
So we have dropped that 60 feet now already.
Wow.
And here we're in the second chamber, and we'll be dropping about maybe 25 feet here now in this, because we're going out onto a high tide. You could easily see a James Bond film being made here now today, couldn't you?
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
So we've just left what I call the man-made element of the Shannon hydroelectric power station, and we're back now in the original River Shannon.
Thanks very much, James. It was absolutely fantastic. I really appreciate it.
Take care.
With its bustling waterways and colourful navigation, Ireland's longest river is a treasure waiting to be discovered. Limerick City on the River Shannon has a rich maritime heritage, and a school in the city is keeping this heritage alive. Brother Anthony Keane is a founding member of the Island School that's reviving traditional boat building skills. Brother Anthony,
hello.
How are you?
Bobby, very well, thank you.
Lovely to see you.
Very nice to see you in Limerick.
Now, tell me, you're in Limerick, but you're a Leitrim man originally.
That's right, I lost my grip and came down with a flood, but it was great to discover the same river down here.
Okay. Now, can you tell me a little bit about the history of boat building and boats and, I suppose, nautical matters in Limerick?
Well, I'd say the history of boat building goes back thousands of years because it's a very natural place, a natural crossing. The Shannon divides its flood, its distributary, the abbey, wraps around the island. And this is the really old centre of the city. And the Vikings later discovered it and developed it, built their fortified port, the Athlunkard, as it's now called. From all of that, and from the 18th and 19th century, we do have the famous gandalo, not a gondola, but a gandalo, which is not unlike the gondola, but it's a 23-foot rowboat.
But the construction of the boat is unlike a currach, is that correct?
It's the skin is of wood rather than canvas.
So life in the school, can you maybe give us a typical day up there?
Well, it consists of classes, strangely enough, groups come in and they learn to make boats. Some just work away on whatever is going on. Others build their own boats. Of gandalos, we have built a fleet of 8 to bring them back to the river. They look very well. They are up to 23 foot long, and they really cut through the water if rowed properly, and we are prepared to test you. But you look very fit, in fairness to you, and we have great hopes that we will be propelled at magnificent speed.
Well, I'll give it my best, brother. Well, Mike, how are you? Lovely to see you. Now, we're going to be doing all that in a minute, but first I want to know a little bit about you. You're a champion rower, I'm told.
I've done a bit of rowing over the years, with the currachs and gandalas, and we've won lots of races.
And tell me then about you and your relationship with the river.
I come from Coonagh, just out a few miles out the road there, and it's a fishing village, and we've been using the gandalas there for generations. They're unique to the Shannon estuary, and we use them for salmon fishing, drift netting for salmon, and for the transporting of thatching reeds.
Now, Mike, we're going to go rowing, which I'm really looking forward to. Where are you bringing me this morning?
Yeah, well, we'll head upriver and we'll head to the Abbey River. We're going to go up under the two bridges, Sartre Bridge and Toman Bridge, and over across into the Abbey River.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Try and keep them long now, lads, nice and slow and long.
You know, the teamwork here, you know, the stroke, it's all about timing. It's not actually about the effort you put in, it's about everybody pulling together, isn't it? It's truly a team sport.
It is, yeah. For leisurely rowing, it would be all about just timing and everything.
But when it comes to competing in regattas and things, you need a bit of power as well. You kind of try and bring it all together then, you know.
So your own group here now, how competitive would you be on an evening? I hear some banter going on with some of the other boats. They thought we were trying to jeer them a bit there.
I know, well, we wouldn't be competitive when we're practicing, you know. As you say, it's just a bit of banter, like, and but we'd be competitive now if we were in a regatta, whether we were in the one boat or in a different boat. Everyone likes to win.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Pull like a dog. Mike, I'm absolutely knackered, but it's truly glorious out here.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Thanks for taking me out.
No problem. Yeah.
And we were ably supervised as well by Brother Anthony there. He was just keeping an eye on us.
Brother Anthony is a good oarsman himself now in his own right.
What did you think? How was I? Give me a marks out of 10, I suppose.
To be honest about it now, not many people can sit into a gondola for the first time and row away like you rowed, so I was very impressed, Bobby.
Whoa.
Wasn't your first time, I'd say.
My journey on the west coast and waterways of Ireland has introduced me to many colourful characters, and my final stop in Limerick certainly introduces me to one. Askeaton is considered to be one of the oldest towns in Ireland, and local tour guide Anthony Sheehy is definitely trying to put it on the map. Anthony, you're a former butcher, but I know you're lots of other things as well. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm the eldest of 10 in my family. 8 sisters, 1 brother. And how I got involved in tourism was, one of my sisters died in 1964, and she's buried here in the Franciscan Friary. So I would come and say a prayer like we all would, and coming out and meet people like yourselves asking questions. So that's basically how I got involved in tourism. So it was divine inspiration, really, that got me involved.
Now, we're on the River Deal here, a tributary of the Shannon.
Yes.
Tell me about the river.
There's lots of towns in Ireland that would love to have a river flowing through the middle of the town with historical sites at both sides. On the west side, you have the castle, you have the banqueting halls. On the east side, we have our Franciscan Friary. And uptown, we have our Knights Templar Tower and Famine Grave.
Why are all these wonderful structures on the river?
The river was ideal for the monks because they could trade themselves, they could go fishing to bring home their seaweed and all that type of thing. So that was the reason for it. And the boats here will say on the River Deal and on the River Shannon, with the amount of mud they had on the river banks, they had flat bottom boats.
That's it.
And they could say slide them on off the mud banks into the river and go away and do their fishing and coming home in the evenings. This was a great fishing village for years and years.
Now.
So on this wall here, you see all the white here. That's the original mortar. You can see the shells.
It's incredible to see shells actually in the mortar. Yeah.
And I mean, that would cut the hand off you.
Wow.
That's really, really strong.
Anthony, tell me how Askeaton got its name.
Well, where the castle is situated here in the town, on the rocky outcrop, upriver during the winter months, you'll have a cascade or waterfall. The Irish for waterfall is called ash. Getana was a Celtic tribe that lived alongside the waterfall. So to get back to the English, Askeaton, As waterfall of the Keating, or Keating's waterfall.
Keating's waterfall.
That's how Askeaton got its name.
Okay.
And there were many, many different pronunciations for it over the years.
Now, we're in the Franciscan Abbey. It's truly an amazing place. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Well, this Franciscan Friary, or Abbey, was founded by the 4th Earl of Desmond, Gerald the Poet, in 1389. It was completely built here by 1420, 1440, and the community were gone here by 1714 on account of religious persecution. So we're here and say where the cloisters are. This is the covered passageway where the monks will walk around, pray and meditate. And these are some of the best complete cloisters in all of Ireland.
And you get a lot of tourists and a lot of visitors here, Anthony.
It's unbelievable. I mean, like, you see, this is a hidden gem. The amount of people coming here from all over the world is incredible. What I love doing, I love meeting the people. I like talking to people.
So clearly, Anthony, you absolutely love what you do. And
I do.
Yeah.
I love what I do. And when I had a lot of tours here now, and at the end of all tours, I recite a piece of poetry from. I welcome in Irish. I translate back into English. And I usually play the harmonica to make them a lot happier. So they go back, and I'm sure that Whether they think I'm off my game, maybe I am, but sure, once I know it myself, there's no harm in that. So that's it.
Well, what about a bar of the harmonica? I've really loved visiting this part of Ireland with its beautiful waterways, what was the trip of a lifetime, and meeting such interesting characters. Join me next time as I go mussel farming in Kerry, reach new heights thanks to the Irish Coast Guard, and welcome two of Ireland's Olympic heroes home to Skibbereen. County Kerry is rich in striking shorelines, scenic coastal drives, and maritime traditions. The breathtaking Maharees on the Dingle Peninsula is home to currach builder Monty O'Leary. Okay. Wow, neat. You started making currachs when you were 8 years of age. Where did you learn the skill?
I learned the skill from my grandfather.
So then the actual craft and the technique, and how do you get these curves? How do you get these shapes?
The knees are ash with the natural turn. That's out of the wood.
Wow.
With the natural bend, because if they get a rattle off a boat or a pier or whatever, they won't break.
Which is the grain.
With the grain.
Yeah.
And the bend,
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Right. This 3-man that we're looking at here, how long would it take to put that together?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And then once you have the frame made, traditionally, how would they have been? It would have been cowhide and stuff.
Cowhide, in the beginning it would be cowhide, but then they got the canvas, 18-ounce cotton duck canvas.
Right.
And tar. My grandmother used to sew the canvas. You bring it back out, you throw it on the back of the canoe, tar it with a mop. You put the mop into 5 gallons of tar and boiling tar.
So now, what's the substitute now that it's not available?
But this one, they get them on light coated fiberglass.
What about the oars then?
The oars only about 2.5 inches wide because they're pivoting on a dull pin, and every time you take the oars out of the water, when you reach out, if they're wider, the wind will be catching you and they kill you.
It's to stop the wind catching it.
Yeah, stop you. It's different.
And because you can't feather it.
That's the reason.
Okay.
You can't feather the oar, and otherwise.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah,
well, I'll be trying a bit of that later on now, so
trying it.
hopefully my technique will
You
be
want to
all
mind-
right.
mind
I
your
won't
kn-
let the side
You want to
down.
mind your knuckles.
So Monty, there must be a lot of planing involved.
There's a lot of planing here.
Yeah?
A lot of planing, especially the oars.
Yeah? You're going to show me how this craft works.
You get the plane and give it a rub yourself.
Okay.
You have to be thin down in the middle. It's not your first time doing it.
A long time since I did it, I can tell you. Now, how's that?
Lovely. That's very good. That's very good. Perfect. Nice and polished, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You might give me a job, so.
Call in the morning.
Monty is keen to keep his traditional skills alive and has passed these skills on to his son, Micheál. Micheál, how are you? Lovely to meet you. How are you doing?
Good.
What a beautiful part of the world.
It's nice, most of the time anyway. Yeah.
So the currach racing, now we're going to be rowing shortly, but Micheál, you might tell us about the regattas and how it all works.
Yeah, most of the regattas are along the west coast. Donegal, Galway, Clare, and Kerry and Cork.
Okay.
So there's usually crews from each county. Starts in about May and finishes up in September.
And how are the Maharees when it comes to these regattas? Am I with winners here?
They do well. They do very well, in fairness. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a big tradition of rowing around this part of the country.
So did you learn a few tricks off the old dog?
Learned it all from this fella here. Yeah. We're passing it down to the young lads now. So.
That's great.
And they love it. They love it, in fairness.
Yeah. So Micheál, your own involvement in the building of currachs, what has Monty actually taught you?
Yeah, I suppose my memories of being young years ago is waking up to the noise of electric playing in the backyard and being told to get up and give a hand. So that's just the way it was.
Yeah.
So we helped out and we learnt how to make them from that.
Right, we better do this.
All right.
Okay, Monty. Monty, I don't know about my stroke. I feel I'm slowing you down a bit.
Oh, you're grand. You're perfect.
Typically then, if we were in a regatta now, how long would the race be?
Usually between 16 to 20 minutes.
Right. Jeez, that's hard going.
It is hard going, yeah.
Huh?
Of racing, like.
Right, 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Say over. You were better than the fellas that are rowing some of the regattas.
Thank you for that. Now, that's a big compliment coming from you. Thanks a million. All right, lads. Safe home, and I'll see you again.
Thanks.
All right? It's easy to see why many visitors fall in love with Kenmare Bay in the south of Kerry. Husband and wife team Carl and Angela Daly moved from Kilkenny to the area and have been mussel farming on the bay for over 30 years. One of these lads in. Right, how long are these, Carl? How long is the rope?
Each rope is about 20 feet long.
Okay.
These mussels here are about 2 months old. It's this year's spat fall.
Okay.
So you see a lot of
So
mussels.
these are called spats?
Yeah, we get a spat settlement, which is the small mussels.
There's no artificial process, it's totally natural.
It's self-seeding. We're getting these mussels through the summer months starting
Okay.
in May.
Okay.
May, June mostly, yeah.
And these are Class A waters here as well, so they're like feeding on natural, pure plankton, so they're really pure food.
And is that what about Kenmare Bay, the abundance of good plankton, is what makes it ideal for mussel growing?
We've got a good water exchange. We've got a good deep mouth to this harbour. It brings a lot of water through each tide. That's feeding plankton to these mussels, which gives us good meats and fast growth and a good natural spat fall. We need all those things for this to work.
So this 20-foot rope, it's a sinkable rope, is it? Is it made out of some material that allows the rope sink?
Yeah, I think there'd be a nylon content to this rope.
Right.
Most ropes would float, so we need it to sink in order to collect the spats.
Typically then, from spat to fully grown and developed mussel, how long will that take?
All going well, you'd be about 18 months.
What about the maintenance then over the 18 months? What can go wrong?
So not only can you get a mussel settlement, you can get a starfish settlement, which will then grow together, but the problem with that is that the starfish will eat the mussels. So when that happens, you've got to go pick the starfish off to separate them, obviously, or you're going to get trouble.
Bobby, we're going to bring you over now to show you a line of more mature mussels that will be ready for this Christmas market.
Okay.
They're actually bigger, Bobby, lower down the waters.
I see that, yeah.
You'll notice that with them.
Yeah.
They're just growing.
So these are how long? These are about...
They're about 14, 15 months.
15 months. They might be 3/4 the way there, are they?
Yeah.
There's lovely colour on them, shine on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Angela, what are you preparing here for us
I'm
as we speak?
preparing
What?
the freshest mussel you'll ever eat.
Wow, absolutely. Whoa, that's good, huh? Really salty.
Yeah.
You can taste the sea.
Yeah, you've come to the salty place.
Oh, that is nice. I know you're the culinary arm of this enterprise, Angela. So
Okay.
tell me about what added value you give in terms of the culinary aspect.
Well, the most important thing to start with any cook is these beautiful fresh mussels. They are just so fresh. And they're cooked in their own juice, in their own broth. Steam them tight with a lid on and sprinkle in some herbs, shallots, fresh herbs, shallots, a dash of wine and a bit of bay leaf.
You're making me hungry, Angela. I think it might be time to go to Helen's.
Will we go to Helen's, Bobby?
Tell me about Helen's.
She serves the best mussels in Ireland.
And not only that, but they're your mussels.
Absolutely. What else?
Okay, well, let's go and do that.
See, Bobby, here now. Get your mussel.
Yeah, use one.
Use the one.
It's a pincher, Bobby.
Yeah.
See, and then they fit in. And you can make a decoration on the side of your plate. They're just perfect, aren't they?
Oh, these are beautiful. How often would you eat mussels?
Oh, several times a week. And
Yeah.
if we have friends, of course, and relations down, they always love to have a bowl of our freshly caught mussels. It's a big treat for visitors from away.
It's just fantastic business that you have, and it's great to see two people working together on a business that they love in a beautiful part of the world. So I really enjoyed this morning, so thanks a million.
Well, thank you for coming.
Valentia Island is nestled in the southern peninsulas and is home to the Valentia Coast Guard Coordination Centre. The station personnel have been responsible for the rescue of many people over the last 100 years.
Hi, Bobby.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks very much. John Draper is Divisions Manager and he's my host for today.
Bobby, this is the operations room. This
Yeah.
is where we run our search and rescue services 24/7.
Incredible.
365 days a year. You have our 3 watch officers on duty covering the radios on watch throughout the day and then night time as well.
When you're monitoring, what areas are you actually listening in
Yeah,
for?
okay. Probably illustrated by looking at the map. We have 3 coordination centres, Dublin here on the east coast and Malin Head up on the north coast. Valentia covers an area out to 15 degrees west, which is about 200 nautical miles, and then up to Sline Head before it changes over into Malin's area of operation.
Okay.
And then south then into the UK SAR area of operation. And we cover as far then as Youghal.
Okay.
And we go up the country. We cover Loch Mask and Loch Corrib as well. And we do a lot of SAR coordination within Loch Derg in addition to all the coastal work.
Well, I do a bit of radio myself, but I was never formally trained, but I believe you're going to let me loose on something.
Yeah, so we're going to get you to do a marine weather forecast for us just down here with Dennis O'Leary.
Oh, great.
Down, and he'll introduce you to it.
All stations, all stations, all stations. This is Valentia Coast Guard Radio, Valentia Coast Guard Radio, Valentia Coast Guard Radio. Repetition of sea area forecast begins. Southerly winds will occasionally reach gale force this afternoon on coasts from Sline Head to Erris Head to Rossin Point. Southerly winds of 4-6 at times this afternoon and evening on coasts from Rossin Point to Howth Head to Sline Head. That's the end of the broadcast. No further traffic on hand. A very good evening to you all.
Well done.
There we go.
Perfect.
Done.
Bobby, we've actually organised something for you I think you're going to enjoy.
Yeah.
The Rescue 117 is coming down. They'll land, they'll touch down here, they'll do a lift off, they'll bring you for a flight around the station so you'll be able to get a shot down at the station.
Whoa.
Going in.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, let's do that.
Valentia up from India Charlie Uniform on channel.
In between a training flight, the Waterford Coast Guard helicopter was kind enough to facilitate a flight to see the coordination centre from the air. Skibbereen in West Cork has a fantastic community spirit and is home to the fastest rowers in Ireland. I'm here today for the homecoming of the O'Donovan brothers and to meet the people behind Skibbereen's successful rowing club. How are you lads? Dominic? Kenny, how are you?
Well, Bobby.
Great. Today we're celebrating a big day. Olympic silver medals, World Championships from Rotterdam, and Kenny, Skibbereen punches well above its weight in national terms around rowing.
We were founded in 1970. This year was special. It was a special year in that we won our 163rd national title, which puts us now on top of the leaderboard in the country. So we've the most
That's incredible.
All Ireland's in a relatively short period of time.
Let me go back to the O'Donovan brothers, Paul and Gary. What are they like as young lads around here?
Even as small fellas out here, I was a senior rower at the time, and they were only small little nippers, like, and they were only like 12, 13, and they were putting it up to me, like, do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know? And they didn't see anything wrong with that. Like, they were always driven.
Is it important, Dominic, that they're relaxed, coming into a big race?
Well, the lads themselves are very relaxed, You wonder sometimes, will they turn up for the race at all? They're so relaxed.
Right.
But they always, in fairness, they always do, and they always put on a good performance, Stephen.
Would you like to see our boats or boat
Love
house?
to see them. Yeah, let's go and do that. Right, come on. Wow.
Yeah.
Look at this. I love the way everybody's shoes are in the boat ready for them.
Yeah. When we go out in the water, we'd have our Wellingtons on.
Right.
And we'd throw the boat on the water and hop in and take off our wellies and put them in the boat down in the low
And
part.
how are the runners fitted in? Are they just
screwed in, aren't they?
Yeah, are they?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And you just hope that they'll fit.
Obviously on a high today, the Olympic medals. So what happens next for the club here? And where do you see it all going?
Rowing Ireland hasn't had an Olympic medal in all its about 130 years. And, you know, we've got our first one this year at the Olympics. And I think not only will that, you know, that's going to inspire everyone in Skibbereen, it's going to inspire everyone in Ireland to get rowing. And, you know, the lads have really proven that it can be done. Here we have Emily.
Emily, lovely to meet you. How are you?
And Bobby, this is Aoife.
Hello, Aoife. How are you?
Good, thanks.
I hope you won't be too hard on me now.
Oh, no.
So what can I expect here? What do I have to, what's the technique?
It's easier than it looks. So you start at back stops, hands away, rock over, and you slide up, and you're catching and squeezing the legs down. And then just one rhythmic movement, continuous, all the way down the river and back.
Wow. So Emily, how many strokes a minute should I be hitting if I was to be competitive?
Usually if we're kind of doing a longer session, about 18, but during races it would be over double that.
All right, Aoife, you better give me a go and see what we can do. What?
Here we go.
Right. How's that? What am I doing wrong?
You're a pro.
So it's all in the legs.
So your rating, that's at your strokes per minute.
Okay.
26.
26, Emily.
Yeah, that's good.
Would you have me out in the boat? Right, Kenny, so there we go. I think my average is 31 strokes per minute.
Yeah.
How's that?
That's good.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's good for racing.
And the girls, I believe, are very modest. They're the 12th fastest rowers in the world?
In the whole world. They're the 12 fastest girls in the world. Yeah.
Are they? Isn't that fantastic? Sorry I wasn't a bit better, but I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the experience here at the club. It's been wonderful to meet you all.
Last shot.
Gentlemen, welcome back home. Can I ask you first, were you expecting such an outpouring?
Which camera do we
Sorry.
It was really overwhelming, like, to just experience all that many people there, and they're all there to see us, and the rest of the Irish team, like, incredible. You know, everything we've done at the Olympics and before that is just representing what we do every day in here. And you know, we try and make it fun for the youngsters who come in, and hopefully we try and get more people in, because we think it's such a great sport that they'll all enjoy that as well.
Great to be back in Skibbereen.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I know it's great to be home, like, and to see everyone is just so happy, and you can see all the banners and posters and signs and flags and everything about the place. It's incredible, like, we'd never have thought it.
I see there's a lot of boats missing from here because half them are up the town outside shops and pubs and all that to get ready for this evening.
There's going to go training in the morning.
So are you excited about this evening?
Yeah, geez, we go crack, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't wait to get it done.
So how does it feel like to come back to Skibbereen, having done all your original training here, having grown up here? Like, what does it mean to you to come back tonight now to be this sort of homecoming with the 2 silver medals and again your own world championship?
I suppose it's pretty special. I mean, we didn't take any note. It was really walking in the door, because it's just kind of normal thing. We've done it so much.
Straight to the fridge and we went in home, like.
So what next for you now, lads? Now that you're in the limelight, what is it going to mean to all those people who had your mobile phones and all that? You're going to have to change. You're going to have to go on the down low for a while, yeah?
Yeah, I would just enjoy the celebrations this week now and make the most
Try and
of
take it all in.
I would be looking forward to getting back into it, and especially kind of getting back down to the rowing club and encouraging the youngsters and stuff like that.
And it's not true that you're messers or anything like that. You
Oh, no.
You always turned up for training and we're never late for a race or anything like that. Is that right?
We've never missed any races.
Well, listen, thanks very much for saying hello to us. And listen, enjoy your success. Enjoy today. Enjoy being back in Skibbereen. And the people are very proud of you. So well done.
Thanks a million.
All right, thanks, lads. All right, the town has gone absolutely berserk. They're out in their thousands tonight. There's going to be an open-top bus now coming through the town. The people are there. They're all wearing pull like a dog T-shirts. Just the town of Skibbereen has thrown its love around 2 rowers from just outside of town. And this is going to be a memorable day in Irish sporting history, where the O'Donovan brothers come home to their hometown of Skibbereen, and I'm delighted to be here. They're serving food, they've got spuds and steak, and I even have some spuds and steak to eat myself. So it's been one hell of a day, and I've enjoyed every second of it. Kerry and West Cork have blown me away with their breathtaking scenery and inspiring communities. Join me next time as I start my journey on Ireland's ancient east, fish on the River Blackwater, and meet an oyster farmer in Waterford. I'm starting my journey this week on Ireland's ancient east, with its many picturesque seafaring towns with miles of sandy beaches and scenic bays like Youghal in East Cork. A relatively unexplored part of Youghal is my destination, and Tony Gallagher, owner of Blackwater Cruises, is my guide for a trip up the striking River Blackwater. Tony, I think you have the best job in the world. Come up here on your own, and you just have all these wonderful trees, this landscape, and just no one to bother you.
Well, I can tell you now, I feel privileged.
Yeah, you should do.
I really do. Yeah.
What have we here?
That's Temple Michael Castle there. When the Normans arrived, they carved up the land and the river between them, and as the old Irish education system spat out, they became more Irish than the Irish themselves.
That's right. You're originally a fisherman, is that right?
That's right, yeah.
And what type of fishing did you do?
Mixed salmon, lobster, shrimp.
A change in career then for you, Tony?
Oh, yeah, big change.
Yeah. So how does this business work? You take people up the Blackwater, out of Youghal?
Yeah. Well, they were sort of renovating the boat cove at home, and I thought, well, look, I've been bringing people out on fishing trips all my life, and I thought, well, maybe I'd convert to that and do it for tourism. So
you've been doing it for...
Here I am through thick and thin.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
Now, look what we have here.
Oh my goodness me. That's the Castle in the May in full sail coming down river, and well, you can see the house, Ballinatray House.
It's absolutely spectacular.
It was built between 1795 and 1798. So it was the family home of the Holroyd Smiths until the 1960s.
And not another house to be seen except their own boathouse.
Yeah. And the only place you can see it to real advantage is from the river.
So this was Youghall's answer to Downton Abbey?
This is Youghall's answer to Downton Abbey, and the same sort of shenanigans went on.
Tony, tell me about the River Blackwater.
Well, effectively, it's about 104 miles from where it rises on the borders of Cork and Kerry, and it flows through Mallow, Fermoy, Lismore, and it turns at a right angle at Cappoquin. And it's tidal as far as Cappoquin, which, in other words, is 18 miles from Youghal.
So little traffic on it, so little development.
Yeah, visitors are astonished. I mean, they said if it was in Germany, there'd be literally traffic lights and all sorts of things.
It's really, really incredible.
Yeah.
What was interesting for me was looking at the photos earlier, really, that this stretch of river certainly, it doesn't seem to have changed a lot in 100 years.
No, there's a timelessness about it, really, isn't there?
Yeah. Are you all people proud of their town and what they have?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. There's a saying around, well, if it's good for the town, and I like to think I'm good for the town.
And moving further up the River Blackwater, I travelled to Lismore Castle in County Waterford, which has stood on the River Blackwater since the year 1185. And the manager of the castle, Dennis Nevin, shows me the sights. Whoa, Look at that.
We're standing here on the top of Broggle's Tower, Lord Broggle, and it's in the most southwesterly corner of the garden. So we're looking north towards the castle there, and just beyond the building is the River Blackwater flowing down to Youghal.
The River Blackwater, I want to understand its prominence in relation to the development of the castle.
Initially, it was built by King Henry II. He decided on this site primarily because the castle is built on a cliff about 80 feet above the Blackwater River. So, you know, for protective purposes, the north side of the castle is impenetrable, really, you know. And at one time, the estate would have stretched from here right down to Youghal.
Just wondering about the current ownership, Dennis.
William and Laura Burlington, Lord and Lady Burlington, see themselves as the custodians of this castle and the estate. And William's father is the 12th Duke of Devonshire, so a successor from the 6th Duke who rebuilt the castle back in the 1800s.
Tell us what your job is here.
I'm manager of the castle and look after all our guests and their accommodations and all of that.
So you're originally the butler?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I still do a bit of butlering, as they say.
I noticed a lot of tourists around this morning, and I know you say that the castle can be booked by guests for weeks at a time and that, but there's another dimension, is there, that there's access from the public just on a general basis?
The public have access to the gardens, so they get the opportunity of coming into part of the castle and seeing it firsthand.
And fishing then, the relationship with the castle has with the fishermen?
We would contact Paul and he'd organise that they go and fish down here in front of the castle. And it's wonderful for them because they bring down their families with them and take sort of photographs of them fishing, you know, in front of this wonderful
Hopefully
building.
with a fish. And as I'm keen to catch a Blackwater salmon of my own, local Paul Whelan from Fort William Fishery is here to show me the ropes.
Here in front of Lismore Castle.
Look at this.
So we're going to have a go here because as the fish tend to come up underneath the Ida Bridge into this fast water here, they'll tend just to slow down here before they'll run it again. So we'll certainly get set up here now, we'll have a cast in here.
Now, I'm mad to get started, Paul.
Yes?
But before we start, you just better give me a sense of where I am here.
We're inside in Lismore. The Blackwater is rising in Kerry.
So would we be tidal here? Or?
No, we're just a mile and a half up from tidal water.
OK. But this means these are prime
these
fishing
are
grounds?
prime fishing grounds now, exactly,
OK. Now, it's salmon we're after,
salmon
right?
we're after.
What about this location?
Oh,
the
unbelievable.
castle is absolutely majestic there above us. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Who would you be bringing out here now? Would you have a lot of foreign tourists?
A lot of guests from the UK, Americans who stay a lot in the castle, people from all over.
I'm enjoying this, Paul.
Very good.
You could be here and just switch right off. That's the beauty of fishing, isn't it?
It is really so therapeutic.
How did you get into fishing? Did you start with your dad or something?
My dad, yeah.
Yeah?
My dad was a very good fisherman, and all his family. So we all just took to it. All my family like to go fishing.
Brothers and sisters and all
Brothers and sisters and all,
fishermen, are they?
Yeah.
Then how did it become a business for you?
Well, I was guiding here, Bobby, for a number of years. Got very friendly with Fort William, and the job came up that the previous fishery manager was leaving to go to another fishery. So he put my name forward, had the interview, and got the job on the day. It was probably
I'd say it's not even like a job, is it?
No, it's
for you, like.
Actually, like the biggest buzz when you get the guest, you know, when they catch the fish, you know your job is done.
Yeah. I just want to stay here forever.
You're more than welcome, Bobby.
Tell me then, Paul, about Fort William Estate.
It's a family-run farm, so between cattle, sheep, pigs and horses, it's a busy little place. We have 3.5 miles of fishing then as the other business on the estate, which from February to end of September, and fishing is fishing very well at the moment.
So the fishing business is part of a farm?
Part of a farm, effectively, yeah.
And Fort William, as a business, that works obviously independently from the castle.
Yes.
But a lot of your guests are coming from the castle.
They would be, yes.
Yeah.
We have a good relationship because we lease 1.5 miles water from the castle.
Oh, I see. All right. I'm afraid that's us, Paul. We tried.
We tried.
Unfortunately, we're going home with an empty net.
We're beat again.
But what about it, man?
It's another day.
What about it?
Well done.
That's what fishing's about, isn't it?
Come back and try again.
As I travel along Waterford's coastline, it's great to be back in Ring outside Dungarvan, where I meet a farmer with a difference. Jim Harty is the pioneer behind the family-run Harty Oysters. Well, Jim.
Bobby, you're very welcome to Ring.
Great to be here. It's a few years since I was in the college there, but 1971, I think.
A lot of people have passed through that college.
Yeah, they have. Now, we're farming.
Yes, you're on a dairy farm at the moment, and I farmed away here for over 40 years. My son has taken it over now at the moment, and we kicked into oyster farming about 1983, 84.
You must have been one of the first oyster farmers in Ireland.
Myself and 3 other lads started here back in 83. It was the first oyster farm in Waterford. We had a magnificent site, and it was a matter of developing it. And that's how we got to this scale.
And what makes the Dungarvan Bay that we're looking out here so special for oysters?
First of all, it's very sheltered. 2 tidal exchanges every day, so it's very clean.
It's shallow as well, isn't it?
Shallow, yeah, and the sand heats the water.
To be standing here and to be looking a mile out to sea there, that you've got oyster beds the whole way out, it's like it's a colossal site.
This site is 25 hectares.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about 63 or 64 acres.
Amazing. So is it just oysters that are living in there, or is there anybody else inside the bag?
In every bag we have on this park, we have periwinkles in it.
Is that right?
Yeah. And the periwinkles eat all the rubbish. It allows the water to go through and feed the oysters.
That's incredible.
Bobby, this is Raymond, my son. Raymond is managing the company now.
Nice to meet you.
Good.
I tell you, it's nice to be out here in this fresh environment, let's call it. Huh? It's great.
Good for you. It's good for the health.
So tell me about the family business. What's it like working with the old fella?
It's grand.
It's all right, is it?
Exactly.
You don't kill each other?
No.
The old fella's gone. He's retired.
Yeah, as you can see, he's here.
I'd say he's not retired. He's only pretending to be retired.
You know yourself now.
Yeah.
No, but it's a whole family business.
All the family went to college.
Yeah.
They travelled the world and they all finished up back here.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah.
What we're doing.
Take off
the bands.
Okay.
Yeah, that's wrapped around it. And basically, what we do is we pick the bag up.
Right.
We bang it down this way. Turn it over.
Right.
Bang it down again. And then just shake it back and forth. And put it down.
Right.
And what that does, it knocks off the extra growth on the shell.
Yeah.
So it tricks the oyster into thinking, oh, I'm not growing a shell anymore, so I grow meat instead.
Incredible.
So it keeps the shape, increases your meat. And we do it around 4 times a year.
Yeah, it's hard work though. As you say, hardy work.
Hard work,
huh? Yeah.
That keeps it fit. Now, Bobby, this is Ita.
Hello, Ita.
Pleased
All
to
right,
meet you.
lovely to
More than
meet you.
welcome.
How are you doing?
The only girl in the family.
Wow. Now, what have we here, Ita?
Basically, we have the oysters here taking about 3 years to get from this stage. So since the nursery, they've been out the tide and we've been continuously working them.
Right, open one up there and we'll give it a blast. All right. Down the hatch, as they say.
Off you go.
Oh. You can really taste the sea.
About a minute after you really get the taste.
It is beautiful. Thanks very much, guys, and we'll see you all soon. In Clonea, I visit part of the Waterford Greenway, a council and community-led initiative that is creating business opportunities for people such as Donald Jacob, the owner of a bike hire company. How are you, Donald?
Hey, Bobby. Are you all set for a little cycle?
I am.
On our new greenway.
The new greenway, yeah. Tell me all about it.
Basically, we've had a railway here for the last 160 years. And then around the turn of the century, the city council got permission to take it over. And local people got together and really pushed it on, and the city manager has been super in driving it. And really, in the last 6 or 7 years is when all the work and effort has gone into it, and now we're at the end of it.
So, Donald, maybe explain exactly what a greenway is.
Well, a greenway is usually an old railway line converted into a cycle path.
Right. So, Now, today, we've got certain sections of it open. It isn't all open. It's going to go from Dungarvan into Waterford City.
Dungarvan to Doro to Kilmacthomas, Kilmeaden, into the city.
Now, tell me a bit about yourself. You're a former retailer, are you?
Had a news agent.
Yeah.
It was a family business, 58 years. When I was 17, I took over. My parents passed away the year of my leaving cert, and I was handed the keys of our empire, our little shop, and told to give it a go. I said I'd do it for 6 months, and it lasted 33 years. But the recession hit. So we closed it there 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
And I had to reinvent myself.
And you've done that. So you have a business in Waterford.
I have a shop in Waterford, a bike rental shop, right at the start of the Greenway. And I also teach cycling in primary schools in the Waterford and South Kilkenny and South Tip.
You're going to take me for a cycle now.
Absolutely.
So, well, let's go and do it, so will we?
Let's do it, yeah. So, Bobby, we just after coming from Clonea, but look at this scenery.
Isn't
We're
it
looking
great?
back on Dungarvan Bay and Clonea Beach.
The
Like,
sun
it's
on the water
absolutely
is just absolutely beautiful,
Yeah.
isn't it? Is this where Kilmacthomas meets the Amazon? And the way the sun comes down through the trees.
Yeah, and the temperature
Yeah,
drops.
it's cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's lovely, though.
It's in a big way.
Is that a parrot I hear in the background?
So the tunnel's just up ahead now. It's 480 yards long. But just be careful now, it is dark. Don't
Yeah.
have your sunglasses on.
So is there light at the end of the tunnel?
There is.
Just about.
Just
okay.
about. Okay.
That's some tunnel, Donald.
Isn't it?
The way it's lit, and it's supposed to be just like I wasn't expecting it.
No,
it just comes on you, and it's a wow. Look at this.
It's fabulous. Everybody will want to go through it.
Yeah.
Like kids, adults. They don't
Yeah.
want to light it too much.
Yeah.
But you have to have it a little bit light so that you don't crash into
No,
anybody.
it's neat. It's real neat. Donald, the Greenway has been a fantastic initiative. What about the future of your business now, along with the Greenway?
I'm excited. Like, I've reinvented myself. The old business is gone, and I think the future is here.
My next stop brings me to the waterways of the River Barrow, where I meet Jim Gill, retired bargeman. Jim, lovely to meet you.
Grand to meet you.
Great to meet you. Now, tell me, you've been working on the river, well, you worked on the river for how many years?
Well, between the Grand Canal and the Shannon, the whole lot combined, there'll be over 50 years.
Amazing. Yeah.
Started in 1945.
So you started with your dad
Yeah.
on the barge
On the barge.
at what age?
I was 13 and 9 months.
Wow. 5th generation, is that right?
Yes.
And your son now is a lock keeper?
He's lucky from Cashganny part.
Yeah, yeah.
He have 31 years done. He was with me in the boat. He did like the boat, so like me.
So tell me then about life on the canals in the early days with your father.
The main cargo at that time was the Guinness.
Right.
From James Street Harbour in Dublin. And then the sugar factory in Carlow was the sugar. You had the beet, you had the pulp. It was run of all that as well, like, you know.
I wanted to ask you, Jim, as somebody who's worked on the canals and waterways for over 50 years, the changes that you see now, when you look at the Barrow here today, is it the same or is it very different?
The way I'm looking at it is the same as I saw it when I was on it.
Yeah.
No changes at all. Only it's better maintained now than it was years ago.
To see how the Barrow has changed over the years, I meet the owners of Larry's Barge, Georgina Scally and Larry Nesbitt.
Hi, Bobby.
Larry.
Larry here.
Lovely
This is
to meet you.
Georgina.
Hello, Georgina. How are you?
This is Flint.
Who's this man? Flint. How are you? Thanks very much for having me on board. I really appreciate it. Where are we going to go today?
Well, we're going to go just up to Cargley, the first lock up here, and then go up past it, and then we'll turn around and come back down again.
Oh,
And it'll be
great.
A little short trip for you.
So, Larry, tell me more about the boat. She's a beauty.
We have it about 16 years. We've been doing it up over the years, changing the engine, putting in the interiors.
And you took your time sort of doing it up then?
It took about 6 months once we decided to
Yeah.
give the business a go, really. And because we really had no idea whether there'd be a market for it or
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
like that. We bring people basically from our mooring in St Mullins up through Greg-na-Managh and then up as far as the Double Loch in Ballykeenan. It's a gorgeous area beyond Greg-na-Managh. So we work on weekends, and then our day trip would be about 7 hours for a trip with lunch. So,
and who would typically be the customer for that, or is it very varied?
The most interest is from local Irish people that
Isn't
have
that
never been
great?
to the river. It's fantastic because they're people that have lived in the area, and it's really about 60-mile radius, and they've lived here, but they've never actually been out on the river.
No problem to you, Georgina. I've been meaning to ask you, Larry, how the barrow has actually reinvented itself.
I think it's still an ongoing process. I think, as you can see, there's not an awful lot of boats on the barrow. It's kind of it's a hidden gem, it's a hidden secret.
Well, that's what I think it is.
Yes, absolutely. So hopefully in time it'll be a lot more boats and craft on the river.
Georgina, what about the future now of the business?
We're keen to keep going, really, because we don't want to make it too big. It's really weekends only, and it's thoroughly enjoyable.
I think if you can find that sort of medium
sort of balance
and the fact that it's seasonal actually suits you, I'd suggest.
Absolutely. You know, we have an opportunity to be out every weekend. You really can't beat Ireland. More or less any time, but certainly in the summertime. We got a bit of warmth, a bit of sun.
And it's been really, really fun and just so tranquil to be out here with you both on a river of my childhood. So it's brought back happy memories for me today. You might give me a steer,
absolutely.
Wouldn't you? Yeah?
You've got the sailing legs, so jump up here, watch the box.
I won't run her aground, I promise.
There you go.
Ireland's southeast has been a revelation with its varied activities and businesses. I've loved exploring its scenic waterways. Join me next time as I stay east and meet the RNLI in Wexford, visit a seal sanctuary, and finish my journey around Ireland back home in Dun Laoghaire. Kilmore Quay Village in County Wexford has had an RNLI station since the early 1800s. Coxswain Eugene Keogh has been involved with the RNLI for 40 years. Eugene, tell me about how it works, if there's a shout, as they call it. Just walk me through the procedure.
Well, it'll be Rosslare Radio will set off the pages, or they get an alert. They can set off the pages, or we can set them off here ourselves. Right. So that's what calls the crew, like.
Right.
That's these guys here you have on us. So.
Okay. What's the radius of the bleep in terms of where do you need to be?
Oh, the radius actually nowadays it's 20 or 30 mile away even. But like some of us just work here next door and fish factories and places like that. So.
And is it the first 7 there? Is that how it works?
If it's an emergency, yeah.
So the craft you have now, the
Tamar,
the Tamar class, tell me about that.
Well, there's 2 of them in Ireland here now. We have her here 6 years. The one we had before that, we were doing about 15 knots, whereas this one is doing 26. So when you need to get to somebody in a hurry, it
can be done.
It's a big improvement. Yeah.
So we might go for a bit of a spin, will we?
Yeah. That's our changing room, Bobby.
Oh wow, the boots are ready and
jumping into.
Yeah.
Nice sunny day anyway, Bobby. It's not going to be too rough. You're used to putting on a life jacket anyway.
Oh, I am. I never go to sea without one. There's some weight in it.
Yeah. There is, yeah. There's a lot of flares, and you've a person beacon as well.
Okay.
So if we do lose you, we know where to go back for you.
Sorry. Let's get on the shout then.
We're good to go.
Okay, fantastic. Wow, this is impressive. Look at this.
See that button there, Bobby? The green button? Hit that a shot with your hand.
Now, what have I done there?
That's firing up the computer system. That'll get the boat ready. Takes about 2 minutes or so. It switches on the computers, brings up all the screens, and opens the seacock solid.
So first man here hits that, and everything's ready then for when everybody arrives.
Okay, Bobby, you hop in there then. We'll give you a job.
This is really... Wow, this is impressive.
The seat that you're in now is the helmsman's seat. So his job is just to drive the boat.
And it's all just on a joystick?
Joystick, yeah.
So you can steer from how many places on the boat?
4. And we have cameras as well, so if there's anybody out on deck and if the weather was bad, you can keep an eye on them. Yep.
And generally, if the weather was reasonable, would you tend to steer from outside?
You would, yeah. Normally, yeah, because you're probably getting stuff ready as you're on your way out. So. Want to have a go?
I will, absolutely. Yeah, let me
Get in there and give her a lash.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is good. Will I open her up?
Let her rip.
Woo! Oh, yeah. Very responsive.
And you've avoided the rocks as well. One man, Bobby.
Thank God. Where exactly are we here?
We're at the back of the Great Saltese here now in a little bay called a China Shop. So.
Great name. You guys often come out here and do manoeuvres?
We'd often use this place just we'd anchor here.
Yeah.
And then we go through other drills, fire drills and stuff like that.
It's not cheap to put these boats out on the water.
No.
What, about €3 million worth here?
£3 million sterling.
Wow.
When the money was left by Mary Weeks.
So left in a will?
Left in a will, yeah. The name, the Killarney, how that came about was she met her husband when she was on a cruise off the Scottish coast. And the ship was called the Killarney, so when she left the money, that's the only thing she left, that she wanted the boat to be called Killarney.
Really, really enjoyed that. And just again to say,
thanks.
The work that you guys are doing here, absolutely admirable. So thanks very much on behalf of all the sailors and all the leisure boaters out there. Keep doing what you're doing. All right, be good. Cortown Village in North County Wexford is home to Seal Rescue Ireland, a rehabilitation centre for injured seals, and Ivan Kelly is its manager. How are you, Ivan?
Not too bad. Welcome to Seal Rescue Ireland.
Well, lovely to be here. How many seals would you actually save and protect and put back into the sea in a given year?
This year now, we're talking about 50 seals.
How does it work? Would you get a phone call saying, I'm over here on a beach in West Clare, there's an injured seal here, and you send a van over or whatever to collect it?
Pretty much that's exactly how it starts. So what happens is, somebody will be walking along the beach, they'll see a seal that looks in distress, probably doesn't look the best, then they'll kind of ring us. We have a hotline that you ring. Once that happens, then we get somebody to pick it up. This is the hospital side of the equation. So first of all, we'll have to keep our voices down a little bit because it is a hospital area like you have anywhere.
This is the admissions area, effectively.
Pretty much, yeah, exactly. Yeah, except you don't have to wait all night for it.
Right.
When they get past that stage, we bring them to the kennels, and that's where we start introducing tube feeding, bringing in the fish soup, to the point where then they're able to free feed. Once they get to about 15 kilos, that's when they go out to the nursery
pools.
Exactly, yeah. Right. They're off on their holidays then, yeah. And what happens when they get to there is they're a little bit fatter. So what they've done is we've actually got them that they can have their own blubber, so they don't need heat lamps on them anymore. They don't need it. They can actually sustain their own body heat themselves. Once they get to 21 kilos, then they'll go on to the pre-release pool. And that's the one with the wood around it, so that they've no more contact with humans. They don't see us feeding them anymore.
So the idea is really to prepare them for life back in the wild. So you really want to dehumanise them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, what about the ongoing running costs here? You know, how do you actually sustain yourself?
We're talking about 100,000 to run the place. We do get a grant from the Department of Agriculture, which takes care of the fish and hospital expenses, but the rest is purely down to generosity public.
Right. Now, you're going to introduce me to some other people here. Who are we going to meet?
Well, our animal care manager is Pedro. He'll take you through the seal side of it.
The technical side?
Exactly.
Okay,
so we'll go
let's go and meet Pedro. Right. Yeah. Oh, hello, Pedro. How are you?
How you doing?
I'm Bobby.
Welcome.
Lovely to meet you. Yeah, you're doing great work, I hear. Will you show me some of your patients then?
Sure.
Yeah?
All right, this is Pinocchio. He's about to get fed. Look at him. He's
lucky, yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I want my seals to be. You see how aggressive he was towards the fish?
Yeah.
Right now he's so excited. He doesn't know which fish to attack first.
And he was in a terrible condition when he came here.
Terrible condition. He had abscesses all under the skin of the face. His face looked like a watermelon or something like that. And well, he was absolutely deformed. He looked like little Quasimodo.
Oh, landed on his head.
That's a hat.
Where's the fish? Where's the fish?
I hope you're filming this.
It's there somewhere. You can smell it. Ah, there you go. The trick is that you don't want them to see it. Is that right?
Exactly.
But they just think that the fish appear miraculously.
Look at their colors on their heads.
Yeah.
They look alike, especially when they are wet.
Well, listen, it's a bit of a revelation, the work you're doing here. As a volunteer, it's great to see the effort and work that's going into these beautiful creatures. Wicklow Head lies south of the town of Wicklow. It has 2 lighthouses, one on Long Hill and the other on the saddle of the head. Miriam Conway is the house manager of the old Wicklow Head lighthouse that has been transformed into unique accommodation by Irish Landmark Trust. Better bring me in and show me everything.
Okay.
This is absolutely wonderful. All these steps, huh?
Yeah.
Be fit enough going up and down here every day.
Are you counting them? Here we are now. This is bedroom number 1. Both bedrooms are basically the same, except in the top bedroom there's a lovely dome.
And look at this, the thickness of the walls.
They're a metre thick, the walls.
And it's lovely and cosy and lovely and warm.
Very cosy, absolutely. Children, they wouldn't remember a 5-star hotel, but they remember the lighthouse.
Of course they would.
Yeah. Most people that come to stay in the lighthouse, they're very passionate about lighthouses.
I'd say. Oh,
This
yeah.
is the lounge.
Wonderful. First thing I noticed, no TV, no clocks, a view to absolutely die for. So relaxed here, I'm afraid I'm going to fall asleep talking to you.
Yeah, you're really cut off from the outside world.
So Miriam, tell me about your own personal history with the lighthouse.
Well, 1969, we moved from Howth Head down to Wicklow Head to the lighthouse with our family. Brendan, my husband, was stationed down there.
Working for Irish Lights?
Working for Irish Lights. When Wicklow Head went automatic, he was made redundant.
Okay.
And the next day, Irish Lights re-employed him as attendant at Wicklow Head.
Okay.
The Irish Landmark Trust rang Brendan and they said to him, would your wife like to look after the lighthouse and do the changeovers and meet and greet the guests and all that sort of stuff? And without asking me, he said yes. She'd love that.
Yeah. And there you are.
I said, I'll do it for a couple of years, Brendan, and we'll see how it goes. And that's 19 years ago.
It's great to see such truly unique accommodation from the Great Lighthouses of Ireland initiative. And my next stop is to meet Barry Phelan from the Commissioners of Irish Lights to see the second lighthouse on this headland.
Bobby, you're very welcome.
Lovely to meet you. How are you? Thanks for meeting me here today. This is some sight.
Yeah, really lovely kind of spot now here on the East Coast.
Now, you're working with the Commissioner for Irish Lights, so tell us what you do.
We've been very involved in developing lighthouses for tourism over the past couple of years. So generally, the accommodation where the lighthouse keepers at the time and their families used to live, but Wicklow Head is the only one where you actually stay in what was the first lighthouse here.
Oh, wow. So this is going 24/7, 365.
Exactly, yeah. Now, you see it's not actually lit at the moment. There's a couple of light bulbs inside there. It's kept spinning it during the day because if it doesn't, like that's a big lens, like a big magnifying glass, you can actually get the sun's rays coming in and it's been known to start fires and burn people.
So like a magnifying glass,
yeah.
That principle where
Exactly,
it can actually cause a fire.
Just don't stand right there.
Right. So the lights just come on, Barry. Can you explain the sequence of flashes to me?
Okay, so this is a Fresnel lens. It was a lens invented in France in the 1820s and still in use nearly in every lighthouse today. You know, it has the effect of a lens, although it's made up of prisms. And that takes the light, beams it out to sea. So when you're out in a ship or a boat out to sea, you'll see 3 flashes every 15 seconds, and now it's come around, and now we're about to start off with the first beam again. This is a 360 degrees white light. In a number of different lighthouses we have, where there's particular dangers, we'll have red sectors, which will actually kind of, so you'll see red if you're somewhere you shouldn't be.
Yeah. The Royal Canal is a major canoe polo location on the inland waterways. I'm keen to find out more about the sport from chairman of the Phibsborough Canoe Polo Club, Art Fitzpatrick. Hello, Art.
Hi, Bobby. Welcome to the Royal Canal.
Lovely to see you. How are you doing? You're going to let me into your world of canoe polo.
Yeah, canoe polo is a sport played in a kayak. Probably a good idea to think of basketball.
Right.
Where you have 5 players on a team and you're trying to get the ball into, in our case, a goal, and in basketball it's a net. So it's very similar.
So kayaking, basketball and polo, combination of all 3.
A bit of that, yeah.
Is it a game with physical contact?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You'll see when you're playing now, if you get the ball, somebody will try to push over.
Right. So are you effectively trying to capsize the guy who has the ball?
You are, absolutely, or certainly dispossess him in as robust way as possible.
Right, okay. And when did this sport, or where did it originate?
There's actually evidence of it being played on the canals in New York going back maybe 100 years. So, in its present format, maybe not that long, but certainly sort of, people say that hurling was played, like 1,000 years ago. So just, there's that aspect to it.
So how did you get the canoe polo going here in Phibsborough?
There is a local community arts festival called FizFest that runs annually, and the organiser of that approached Canoe Polo Ireland to organise a canoe polo tournament to coincide with the festival. So I was charged with that responsibility, and so I got the pitches set up with the help of Waterways Ireland and with the help of the festival. It was a very small competition that year, and it's grown then over the years. It's grown exponentially, really.
Okay, so the trick is then to be fairly agile, be nimble, and then be ready to challenge fellas.
Exactly, yeah, and not to have any fears of turning over in the boat.
Okay, right, we'll give it a whirl. We'll see how we get on. How about that?
Very good.
Okay. The beautiful Dun Laoghaire harbour is used each day by people for exercise, sightseeing, and for some lucky people, it's their office, like fishermen Ivan Toole and Bernard Flynn. Lovely to meet you.
How are you? That's Bernard.
Bernard, lovely to meet you too. Well, we have one, yeah.
No, fortunately,
no.
Undersized.
Back she goes.
Back she goes.
Bye-bye, love. So, Ivan, you might just explain the measurement regulation to me.
Yeah, well, we have our minimum size is 87 mil.
Now, who's deciding that?
Well, it's the SFPA, is the Sea Fisheries Protection Authority. They're the sort of police of the guard of the fishermen.
Okay.
Okay, so they've said it at that, and actually, in fact, Europe is the same measurements.
Okay.
And recently, this year, they've introduced a maximum size, which is 127 mil.
Okay.
Big lobsters are really good breeding stock.
Right.
They're very successful at hatching eggs.
Because they've been around a long time.
Exactly. Yeah. Like a lobster that size, be 30 plus years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's incredible.
One thing I wanted to ask you, Ivan, is that, and again, I've been out in this bay for many years, but I've never seen so many lobster pots out as I have this year. So you guys must be having an absolute bonanza, are you?
Yeah. There's a lot of fishing in Dublin Bay at the moment, yeah.
Right.
A lot of whelk fishing and lobster and crab fishing.
Right.
But, yeah.
Do you keep an eye on shore for who's pulling whose pots?
We do,
so when somebody out there in Scotsman's Bay looking out with a telescope.
We've cameras all on the buildings all around here.
Yeah, fishermen they're sort of dark art. It's good. Yeah. Let's pull another few pots and see if we get a few more, Bernard.
No problem at all.
This is good, we're getting a few of them.
Yeah, we're not doing too bad now.
No.
And again, I'd say he's a little bit undersized.
Yeah.
He is indeed.
Too small.
Give him his freedom.
Ivan, can I ask you about the conservation? This lad here now is too small, so we're putting him back.
Yeah, he's too small.
Tell me about the V scheme.
We do a V-notching scheme with BIM.
Right.
I suppose it's undergone now about 8 years. And the idea is that if we catch a lobster, say a female lobster,
yeah,
if she's carrying berries underneath her, eggs, yeah, it's not illegal to keep them with the eggs, but it's not a good thing to do, obviously.
Okay.
You know, yeah. We weigh them and we measure them and we put a notch in their tail.
Okay.
Okay, and that notch would stay with them for 3 years, maybe 4 years. We release them back into the wild, and at that stage they are legal to have in your possession.
So if we pulled one that had a V in its tail, that's one that's earmarked for conservation,
yeah.
Back she goes.
Back she goes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's worked, the proof is in the pudding because of the number of lobsters that are here in Dublin Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, on this side of the bay particularly.
Yeah, an awful lot of juvenile lobsters, as you can see there, were just really good.
I'm slowing you up here, so let's pull another couple of pots. Talking too much is what I am. Okay.
Put that in the box then again.
Right, there you go.
And these
too small.
Too small. So
yeah,
needs to be returned.
Okay. And there's a lot of them go back, doesn't there?
You'd see an awful lot of juveniles.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, we've done our work.
We have indeed.
I think we've got 15 odd lobsters. Probably not a bad catch out of 11 pots.
It's not too bad.
So we'll head back ashore now and maybe see if we can sell them.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's do that. Thanks, Ivan. Take it away there, mate. Based in the heart of Glasstool village, Caveston's first opened its doors in the 1940s and has since then expanded to a successful food emporium and seafood restaurant. Peter Caveston is at the helm of this family-run business. You must cook an awful lot of lobster.
Huge amount of lobsters.
In the restaurant, Peter.
No, I didn't add the cream. Today I didn't. I just used the butter is plenty rich. Yeah. But if you wanted to make it more silky, put a little bit of cream to it. And then you can add a few chives at the last minute. But look,
it's very filling lobster, so it's a very rich meat.
Yeah, and this is one I've done without. So this is the way we'd serve a cold lobster. It's already steam cooked. Taste that now and see what it's like.
Oh, beautiful.
You're out there an hour and a half ago, out the back door, Scotsman's Bay, and you're in here.
Oh, well, Peter, I wanted to ask you about the fish and the sort of trendiness of certain fish. We're here eating lobster, again, which was always considered a premium fish. But is there a fashion around fish? What's changing, I suppose, the trends?
I suppose fish has become, it's a healthy product. People want to eat fish. It's a healthy eating option.
Where do you see the future of fish and the industry going?
Well, I mean, the industry, if we can hold on to our stocks, the industry is only going to go one way, and that's upwards, Because the demand is there. We have fantastic resources here, but we've got to mind it.
Well, listen, keep doing what you're doing, because you're a great ambassador for fish and fish restaurants and just the fishing industry.
Thank you very much.
And I'm privileged to be your neighbour and have this great facility on my doorstep.
And thank you very much for the lobster.
After 8 weeks of travelling our scenic shorelines, I've completed my circumnavigation of Ireland. I started my journey on my doorstep with a swim in the 40-foot in Sandy Cove, and along the way I've seen wallabies on an island, met fishermen at dawn, and caught my very own fish. I've swam in pollicles, had once-in-a-lifetime experiences, cycled, rowed in a currach, and sailed our beautiful waterways. I've had the pleasure of meeting interesting characters and businesses, and even met 2 Olympic rowing legends. I hope you've enjoyed my journey on Ireland's coastline and breathtaking waterways as much as I have.